Alright, what's going on, y'all? It's Keston here. Just letting y'all know real quick that this video is like rated 18 plus. Like the content of this video, like we're gonna be talking a lot of grown folk stuff, and the ins and outs of the business and everything. So if you're over 18 and you're a Tokusatsu fan, this is the place for you. If not, why are you even here? We're 18 plus channel. We say shit shit all the time. Anyways, enjoy the video.
All right, hi there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bulls and ghouls of all ages. It is your host, Necrovisual, aka Eric, E-Dub, whatever you want to call me here. Sidebar co-host, all-around big dog over here for the Geeks of the Roundtable, and we have a special, never before seen exclusive worldwide world tour premiere in the building. We have with us the man, the myth, the legend, the guy from the East, all the way from downtown, coming over here just to speak to me personally, to give the word of the streets from his words to your ears, the closest thing to God that you're going to see, Mr. Bueno.
Thank you. I don't like. Why does everybody call me the legend? You're like the seventh person to call me the legend. I haven't really done anything too legendary yet.
Listen, all right. So I can accurately give you a reason of why it's like, why do people call you like the legend? All right. So best analogy that I can give. Imagine a rapper. Imagine Eminem, right? Eminem has at least 16 different albums. The main albums that people usually go to are the Marshall Mathers LP, which people consider to be quote unquote his magnum opus. But what do you consider magnum opus when you have 16 other albums that people might consider better than that? Mm-hmm. Is magnum opus then just becomes opus? It becomes good. It's not great. Versus you, so far, you just had just a solid knockout, and you're potentially going to be making something else. We don't know. Hopefully, you'll be giving.
I'm making something else. I'm making something else. As long as I breathe, I'm still going to keep making stuff. But it's just that's flattery. Yeah. To have like a magnum.
Yeah, look, man, it's the highest form of endearment that a person can give, especially in the industry that you're in, that not a lot of people either even know how to get into, much less information about it.
I'm not. The thing is, I'm not really in any industry right now. Like, I'm kind of I kind of like to consider myself as like a hired gunfighter. I'm in the West, and then just like I give my skills to the person who has like the most coin.
All right.
That's what I like to. That's how I like to put it. I'm outlaw. I'm an outlaw. All of us at Garage Hero are outlaws.
All right. Look, man. You heard the man. Outlaw Media, Garage Hero, the Geeks of the Roundtable, fundamentally functioning as the same thing. We kind of have no real. We have no real label. There's no one signed to us. We kind of beat to our own drum. That's been our moniker for the longest. So.
Right.
We're definitely kindred spirits in that regard. So that's definitely from all the way from what 2019. Yeah, because it was that Anime NYC 2019.
Yeah. Anime NYC, like we've met at Anime NYC, yeah?
Yeah.
Was that Anime NYC? Okay. Because I have a feeling it was over at not sure if it was over at Urban Action Showcase. Were you over there too? No. Because I believe there was like
I think that was the other one, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold up. I just got to check something really quick.
Go for it. Meanwhile, put that on mute so I'm not fucking hounded by messages every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah. We first chopped it up, Anime NYC 2019 over here before COVID, before everything fucking ruined everything. Ironically enough, last year would have been the year when I would have came out there, so then I can have like a better direct with you. Oh, yeah, me and a buddy of mine, we had it entirely planned out because there's like a Soka festival that happens in Japan, usually at around like I believe July, September, that time frame.
Yeah.
So we were gunning for that. We had like tickets prepped up and everything. And then COVID hit, everything was shut down. We had to get our tickets refunded because thankfully, like as far as like the tickets, they were complimentary for him. As far as for the event, I think like the hotel itself had complimentary hotel stuff, but you just had to just like fund for your ticket or your plane ticket to get there. So we didn't waste our time getting tickets because everything was already like fucking shut down.
Well, yeah, hopefully next year, man, because like that vaccine's making its way, it's making its rounds. So we'll see.
Right here's hoping. Here's hoping that everybody, either gets the vaccine. If you didn't need it, you stay safe and whatnot. Everybody's doing precaution. That's all I can hope and breathe for at this point in time.
Right.
But yeah, all right. So let's dive into a little bit of your history for the bulls and ghouls at home who probably don't even know who you are, what you do. Give you like a minute to talk about yourself.
Well, unless you're perhaps like a few of them only know what tokusatsu is, but for those who already know about it, and for all of those in the toku community, as they like to call it, you might know of myself and I, my group and I as like a bunch of black sheep. So, but it's cool. We just wait and make what we want to make when we want to make it, however we want to make it. And some people agree with this, some people don't. My name is Bueno. I'm the leader, creator, and top dog over at Garage Hero. We're a small ragtag group of individuals with nothing to lose, and we run around guerrilla style, shooting all sorts of like short films, like tokusatsu stuff, action comedies in Tokyo, Japan. We've been doing it for 10 years now.
And it's crazy that so many personal projects like yours half of the time don't even stand the test of time to last that long. Much less just you doing it for 10. So half of the time people don't even get to like a full solid year.
Yeah. I think it's because I've seen that so much that I really don't want to be like that. Like I see people talk shit all the goddamn time. They always talk about how they're going to like, I'm gonna film this, or I'm gonna make this, and they start it, they never finish it. For example, I don't know. Can I take shots at people on here or what? I feel like talking so much shit. I don't know if I'm gonna get you in shit though, because like it might get you in shit with other people.
Listen, I as much as I live for the toxicity, I'll say if you're gonna do it, just don't throw hard names. Just don't throw hard names. Don't throw like production label things. But you can throw little pot shots here and there. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, well, there's a few people. There's like one guy whose name starts with ma, and then ends with ent, and then has a Ike de in the middle. And then he's like one of the examples of people who like start stuff. They're like super ambitious. They want to start projects, and they end up becoming butt fucking quitters. I've had it up to here with all those people, and I just said like I don't want to be like that, and that's why I've been just trucking along doing my thing for 10 years along with my group. I mean, I'm just really happy that I'm able to like find a group of people who really kind of see my vision of what I want to do, and they kind of want to look. It always takes the first step. Like if somebody takes the first step, if you want to do something, especially if it's a film or like a video game or anything like that, you have to take the first step and do it yourself. Then the people come afterwards, right? So it's a constant thing of like kind of setting that standard of like, and being like overall how should I say it, charismatic. You need to kind of be charismatic as well. It's like it's not just like about them helping you and then that's it. You have to like, if your team does something for you, or your group or your friends, whoever's helping you out, those people helping you out, help you out, then you the least you have to say is like, good job. That's like the least you have to say. Thank you. Good job. But
and And in your opinion, is that not a major thing that happens as far as for creatives? Like when people like say like big collaboration works and whatnot, they come under like a single banner. You don't really hear like news of like a director head formally going to like the people who he works with and saying like, "Hey, yo, you guys did a fucking bang out job." Like you just hear, in your opinion, do you just hear just like, "Oh, the director just takes the praise. He doesn't really give any shine for the rest
I've
of the
seen
team."
that a lot. I've seen it a lot. I've experienced it too. There's one other
Oh.
guy named his name starts with a M, and then his last name starts or ends with a S, and then the middle of his name goes Axella. So,
Oh.
like that kind of person, like he constantly forgets to thank people. I mean, I think he thanks people now, but like he was
Probably
pretty.
just in like the early years, he was just like really like kind of like a shit heel, more or
I mean, like
less.
it's still no. He's not. He's not really a bad person. He was just really dumb. And like
Right.
when you do that, you he gets excited for stuff like if I like I helped him get suits, and then like so he's all like, oh, this is great, and like yeah, he's British.
Mm. Oh boy.
So like,
Oh.
yeah, I know. Like, okay, all the white boys in Garage Hero, they've always been weird and they've always had their own agendas. Like, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I know how ever want to have another white boy in Garage Hero ever again. So, like with him, it's like he would be so excited and he got all this stuff, and then he'd like, I'd have to remind him to say thank you, and it's just
and
like, yeah,
and not and because it's weird that like, all right, American boy talking here, especially just like on the outset of like observing Japanese culture, it's always been like a not necessarily politeness but just like respect in your fellow man has always been like a major thing
yeah.
in the Japanese culture, especially
Just
things that
anywhere in the
I've
world.
witnessed.
I mean, like if you say thank you to somebody and show
You
gratitude, it
it's
goes a
weird.
long way. It
It's
goes a long way.
weird. It's weird because like normally you would think that, right? But like
Yeah,
for some reason, just like over here in the States, not so much. Like it's
yeah.
weird. It's super weird. In the States, you'll more so hear about how a company head or a figurehead or like the lead director or something will more so take the group sum of thanks and then just put it on his back and then maybe like in private like thank one or two guys. It's only been like in the advent of like social media that you've actually seen people go like, hey yo, thank your fucking creative directors, thank your artists, your writers, your music directors, that sort of thing.
Or when you win
Because
an
you
award and you're all like, I want to thank God.
yeah, like things like that, like they like you'll
If it was
think the
if it
person
was
who's not
me,
even really there.
I'd be all like, everybody thanks God. I'd like to thank Satan. The man
Yeah,
downstairs, keep eating those souls.
right, keep devouring the people who thought that I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna nip this in the bud tonight. So because you have tokusatsu, you have
Thank you for
sentai,
pronouncing it correctly.
right? Right? You got tokusatsu, you've got sentai, you've got the good old American Ranger nonsense, and specifically like what like hands down once and for all from God's words to the world's ears. I need you to tell the world is what is it like
Okay.
when it's discussed either in public or in private or when you're working on a project and somebody's like, yeah man, I too work on Super Sentai, or I too work on Tokusatsu. Like no, that's not it, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
there is like a specific term, specific like sentence structure, especially for when you're discussing that. So if you could please share to the world what it is.
Tokusatsu is pretty much just like Japanese special effects shooting, and
Mm-hmm.
mostly with the practical effects. And if people in the West, people will know about it as Power Rangers or
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare will it be like an occasion where they say Ultraman because of like Ultraman powered, like back in the
Yeah.
90s. But if you go and talk about tokusatsu to people in the Philippines, they'll say, "Oh, so it's like Scheider and Kamen Rider Black." Or if it's in France, they're gonna say, "Oh, so it's like O Ranger or Bioman." And then if you go to Brazil, it's like, "Oh, so that's like Just Beyond." So it depends. The kind of image of tokusatsu kind of depends on what you saw first or what was famous first in that region. So like you could talk about Sentai and all that stuff, but like, in the Philippines, people just know about it as like Mask Man, you know, or like they've showed like a whole bunch after that, but like, so like they kind of now with the internet and like the information is there. I mean, like even if I was to say tokusatsu is this, you can just Google it and you'll find tokusatsu, right? But if you need like an image of something of what tokusatsu is, just if you're in America, it's Power Rangers. If you're in Europe, it's either like Bioman or O Ranger. Uh, Even in Japan, when they say something like if you have something like Kamen Rider, right? Like specifically, if it's like Kamen Rider Agito, and then you show it to somebody, they'll say like, "Oh, so it's like a Sentai thing." They'll call it in Japanese. They'll call it like Sentai Mono, like the average Japanese person. They won't call it Kamen Rider. Somebody will call it like, "Oh, Sentai Mono." So it's like it depends. Again, it just depends on the easiest thing to
that people
kind of
will
lump it
latch
together
on
with.
to.
Yeah. So that's why when people like take a look at my stuff, so it's like, oh, it's like Power Rangers. Hold up.
Is
Hold
that
up.
because that's really what it is? Because it's
No,
the
hold up. Somebody's at the door. Hold up. I gotta.
oh boy.
Hold on.
Oh
Hold on.
man. All right. All right. So, but yeah, so essentially it's more so like, if somebody like were like a regular Joe Schmo American citizen, but they knew of Sentai, they came to Japan, but they didn't know like Kamen Rider or anything like that. They saw any of that stuff, or they saw your work being filmed live, they would just be like, oh, so it's like Power Rangers and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
I'll just say yeah.
all right,
Like a
but
long time ago, maybe I would have said I would when in like my 20s, I would be all like, "No, it's not. It's different." Now I don't even care because like it's just I just realized like that's just what it is, That's just how they see it.
yeah.
And even the Japanese, they're like, okay, so this is like Sentai Mono. So
Mm.
it's like it doesn't really you kind of get over it and like you kind of it's just it is what it is, you know?
Like you have more of a an expanded worldview in the case of like
Yeah.
you getting like super pissed off because it's like, oh man, why would they say that my work is like Power Rangers? But then it's
It
like, no, wait, if they can
yeah.
actually associate my stuff with
It's
something that they
easier to
remember from their
understand.
childhood, they'll grasp it more. Yeah,
Yeah.
like absolutely.
And it's a matter of like, well, why do they label it like that? It's because, well, it's the business
Mhm.
and it's a larger it's like a larger product. It's like advertised way more than your stuff.
Yeah,
So you can't beat that. Indie cannot beat that, You have to make
yeah,
something you have to like make a masterpiece in order to beat it. I know that my stuff is never going to beat the bigger stuff because we just don't have the budget to push it out there. But it means that I could pour my creativity into the actual production and then that
yeah.
makes it more like the quality is usually better. It's like I think I mean like you could have like really great quality,
Hmm.
with a bigger budget, but what smaller budgets allow you to do is force you
More
to be creative.
flexibility. Yeah,
It forces you to be creative. You have to solve all of your monetary problems with creativity. If you can't shoot
mhm.
something because it's expensive, you have to figure out a way how you're going to make it so that in the story it's doable, but in the budget it's also doable. So
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I find interesting about it. And also at the same time, it also gives you a bit more freedom, you know.
mhm.
So like with bigger production, it'll like they'll say like, oh, we can't do that because it's too expensive, and we can't lower the price because like it goes against our core values and all that stuff. But I don't give a shit about core values, as you can see from a lot of my stuff. So, yeah.
Listen, I'm with that in mind, you'd be perfect for 2003, 2004 era Tecmo. They'd love to have you if that were the case. No core values. Fuck it, let's party, man.
Yeah, like, isn't it? Igarashi, he's like starting a new company.
Yeah, Itagaki. He's starting
Itagaki's like
new. Yeah, he's doing an entirely new company. I think it's called Itagaki Games. Like I think he just named it
Itagaki Studio.
Yeah, there we go. Like he just named it completely after himself. He was like, "Fuck it, everybody already knows me as just the guy who made Dead or Alive and remade Ninja Gaiden."
Yeah.
So I'm just like, hey, look, man, if you can, whatever business venture that you make, if you can have a proper budget and have the game not be garbage or the product not be garbage, I'm here for it.
But he's also another example of a guy who doesn't really like follow through. He just wants to do his own thing, right? Like
he wants to party, but he doesn't want anybody else to like drink at the party more. It's like he just wants to get shit faced and then have everybody look after him. The best analogy.
Not really. I mean, like he still looks after his team. Like even with Dead or Alive, like when he was working on those games, it was Tecmo, one of the big suits, the big wigs that like fucked all that shit up, right? So, but like with him, it's always been about him having a good team and like making these games that he's always wanted to make, right? So.
Yeah, because definitely like there's been like at least like 5 different retrospectives on like Devil's Third and why it got messed up, and a lot of it wasn't even his fault. A lot of it was just poor business management on like outside studios that kind of had nothing really to do with him. He's just like, I'm just making the game, but can I have like a fucking budget? And they're like, maybe, but they never really like gave him anything.
Yeah, each time, man. Each time. Big wigs are always usually like that, man.
Yeah,
that's why I hate them.
Yeah, but yeah, is going back to the statement of like, oh man, the people who when they watch your product and whatnot, and they'll just instantly associate it with Power Rangers, and how indie programs can't really stack up to huge mega corporations like scenarios and whatnot. I personally feel that it's 50-50. Like you can afford to stand on the shoulders of giants depending on how good your product is. So like sure, like somebody like especially like somebody from like New York, they're gonna see if I showed like 5 people who don't know me, they don't know you, they don't really fucking know Kamen Rider or anything like that. If I showed them Strega tonight, they would probably go like, oh yo shit, yo, this is like fucking Power Rangers, but there's like fucking titties and fucking cutting people in half and shit. Yo, this shit's fire. Yo, where you get more of this? And they're not gonna associate that with Kamen Rider or with Power Rangers. They're gonna more so start associating that with its own thing. But that baseline thought of it's Power Rangers but X. And I honestly feel that that's where the indie market can more so flourish. And that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about tonight, especially considering how like the things that are coming out regarding like the possible like rule changes, like stuff with like the Japanese government when it comes to things like cosplay and stuff like that. So I know like the one I think it's Comic-Cat. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Comic-Cat
over there. Yeah, and they have that convention. They have there's another one that's out there. I'm not sure if that is Comic-Cat that I'm also thinking of. The one that like this, it's just purely for them just selling doujins, all original work.
Yeah, that's also Comic-Cat.
Oh, okay, all right.
Also Comic-Cat.
All right, yeah. So they'll be at like Comic-Cat and they'll be selling doujins and stuff, but they'll have people who will be cosplaying from like official work. So you'll see like a random Joe Schmo Japanese dude, he's dressed up like Spider-Man next to like a Sailor Moon, next to like a Kamen Rider Forze, and they'll all be there, and they're just there just to cosplay, but there'll be somebody that's there who's selling like a random hentai doujin of Sailor Moon getting like ass blasted by like Spider-Man or something like that, something outlandish or like that. But with the recent like political news that's been coming out of how apparently like cosplay and stuff like that, how they might think of that as like it's copyright infringement. do you potentially think that with your work and the roundabout association of Sentai, Strega, fucking whatever new Sentai series is out, they're all the same thing, they're all under the umbrella, this guy is technically stealing from us? Has that like ever like come across your mind at all? Like more so just like the paranoia of it all. Like has that like gotten to you or anything?
If that's the case, then it's like that's kind of like the same thing as like with DJs back in the day when they're saying like, oh, you can't sample this, you can't take that and this and stuff like that.
It's actually that's a perfect analogy. Actually,
it's repurposed, and like Tokusatsu isn't like with Tokusatsu, like productions and like a franchise, like whether it be Super Sentai or Kamen Rider, and those are trademarked by ADK, Ishimori Pro, TV Asahi, and Bandai. None of those people own my stuff. So like there's no way in hell that Strega is going to be bought by somebody else. And like if I sold it to somebody, I'd make sure that I get a hell of a fucking lot of money. Like,
right?
First, like I would have a few stipulations. First, I would like sell it for a fuckload of money, and I would finish the story, and then they could do whatever they want with it after I'm done.
So
that's what I would do. So like it was
the whole finish the adventures of like Soma.
Yeah, pretty much. And then like the whole thing with the cosplayers and all that, like that's only affecting the cosplayers who are like using trademarked characters to make a profit off of in their like photo books and such and DVDs. So if you cosplayed as Mikasa from Attack on Titan and you're stripping, and then it's like you make like a gravure DVD out of it, that's copyright infringement, and that's what's going to get taxed, right? But if you do an original character that looks like an anime character and you're cosplaying as that and you do it, then it's okay. You could also you could be hired, actually. The good thing about it is you could be hired to be an official cosplayer for that property. So if Dentsu, the group that like funds a lot of these things, if they have like an event for My Hero Academia, and then there's like a well-known cosplayer, and then they're saying like, we'll pay you to dress up as Ochako, and then they pay that person to do what they like, so that's the plus side to it. So that there's probably going to be more jobs actually for cosplaying. They're going to take away like some of the stuff,
like more of the free market.
Like you could still cosplay as the character as long as you don't profit off of it. But if you want to profit off of it, you have to do cosplaying as a job for a company.
All right.
Like Marvel did that with like a few people for like birthdays and stuff. What they would do is they would hire people who are cosplayers as like their Marvel characters who already had the costumes. They would pay them a commission for doing cosplay for like events and charities and like Make-A-Wish foundations and stuff like that. They would pay those cosplayers. So that's how I see it coming. It's gonna go away from being like it's not gonna affect it too much. It's going to just be like you could cosplay as this character, but you have to do it for free. It has to be as a hobby. And then if you're going to make money off of it, it has to be for that property.
All right. Because that's definitely been the talk of the town, especially for cosplayers who are like international, like they're internationals, like they travel sometimes like from Brazil to come to New York, to come to Japan, to go to like fucking Australia or something like that for like whatever cons that are going on for shoots. And they were really concerned about that, especially because they were like, if I were to go to Japan, what would be the situation if like I went there for like a promotional event, or not even a promotional event, they just went there just to go and they wound up cosplaying.
They could still do it. Yeah, they could do that. if they're making money off of it, like if they do get hired for an event and they don't have the proper visa, there might be problems, right? So, but like if that's like the bad part. The good part is if a big company says you look like the character, we would like to pay for your flight, your hotel, and everything, and you get to come out to Japan. That's like the good part.
That's like the dream right there.
That's like where it's going possibly, but it's also going the other way. It's one of those two ways. So, but with my stuff, that's never going to happen because it's mine.
You haven't sold the stocks yet.
I haven't sold stocks yet.
Still high.
I haven't sold the stocks yet. But the stocks are rising in Garage Hero. Yeah, it's up to like what, $327 currently. So
yeah, it's better than us. Better than me. I got in real late. I have no stocks. I have no full stocks. I've only got like portion shares. I think I just got to like 100.
You want to hear a toxic story? You want to hear a toxic story about GameStop?
Sure, GameStop fucking sucks. I'm just glad that I can stick it to Wall Street, but go for it, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna be like labeled as a transphobic, but
oh man. Oh.
Okay. So you cut the VOD from this, man. But like, okay, so
I'm executive decision tonight. I'm letting it ride. This is 100%. We're Planet Fitness rules. No judgment. We're letting any and all opinions come out, and we're going to let the public decide how they want to decide. We're 100% Planet Fitness, Joe Budden rules, all on display tonight.
Okay, so I was like with, like, you remember that video? Maybe never mind. I'm gonna pump that later, but you'll laugh if you know what I'm talking about. So
is it the one situation like the dude at GameStop?
No, no. Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so basically, because I went to New York, as you know, that's where we met. So like went to New York, and then I was staying with another member of Garage Hero. His name's Joel. He lives in like the South Bronx. So like,
shout out Joel. Shout out to the South Bronx.
He doesn't live in the South Bronx. I just say that he does. But, but like, so, you know, he's in the South Bronx, and then like, you know, it's a nice little neighborhood, you know, KRS-One's from there. So
it's super gentrified now.
But like we go to GameStop. And I'm like, because I'm about to go, it's like a few days before I go back to Japan. So I'm like, you know, I want to get some games while I'm here. Because like I really, like, you know, PS3. I'm still on the PS3. Because the PS3 is such a great system. So I was like, you know, I want to get some used PS3 games. So we go inside. And then, like, one clerk goes to us. And he's all like, hey, can I help you guys? And I'm like, guys? It's ma'am!
Oh, no.
and then everyone in the store just burst out laughing.
Listen, that video is so fucking funny.
Except for one person, and that person was trans.
Oh no! So they probably knew, and in their heart of hearts, they wanted to laugh, but at the same time, it was
the thing is, everybody, all the staff, all the people in the store burst out laughing, and then that one person was so alienated. Like,
oh man.
So I was, you know, we were looking for the PS2 games. We go, okay, here are the PS2 games. We buy the games, like we pick them up, and then like the guy's all like the clerk is all like, okay, so these two games. And then the trans person is like, the trans person like went into like behind and like this. It's like imagine it as a movie. The trans person's like this.
Oh no!
Slides in, looking at
behind
me.
You.
Yeah,
staring daggers.
Like right behind the clerk, and looking at me and Joel. And Joel was just all like, he's trying to explain. It was like, I did not know he was gonna do that.
Oh god.
The thing is, I didn't know I was gonna do it. I just knew that I had to do it because I was in GameStop.
It's a once in a lifetime moment. You never get to recreate a dumb Vine video from fucking GameStop.
It was so spontaneous, right? I didn't know what came over me. I just knew I had to react because I remembered that video at that point in time, and it was so funny, and everybody loved it. Except for one person.
Except for that one homie. It's unfortunate. Yeah. They got to deal with a lot of bullshit. But at the same time, if you can learn to laugh at the nonsense, you can live a happier life, in my opinion. So yeah. It sucks, but sometimes you gotta get laughter for a while.
Yeah.
Look, we
you know what? Yeah, it's also funny. Joel can't go back there now.
That's the worst part about this. Like, yeah, look, thanks a lot. Fucking Bueno, now I can't get from GameStop. Thanks.
You can't go to GameStop. And then you know what another funny part about it is at night the G and the A on the sign is off, so it's me stop.
Oh no. There's somebody who's probably just laughing at that every day for that GameStop.
Yeah, me. I have the photo. I'll send you a photo later. I have the photo.
Oh god. We've gotten like the basic history. Not even the basic history.
No, dude, we haven't even covered the history.
Right? We've gotten like the basic introductions out of the way. So I would love to talk about your history, slow but burning bright uprising into your craft, into your market. How did you get from where you were starting out to, making, funding, directing, filming, and then finishing an entire feature-length movie?
Okay, well, I went to film school. That was a mistake.
Everybody went to film school.
It's such a bad idea. Like, okay, I know that maybe it's just a boomer thing I'm saying, but like kids, like school is on the internet nowadays. Just go there. You don't have to deal with like teachers who don't know anything. You don't have to deal with like, classmates who think they know more than you. You just get the data and then you learn and then you add skills to your skill set. That's like the best way to learn stuff these days. Schools are so overrated. They're old, they're outdated. Do everything on the net. So that's with that out of the way. I went to film school and I learned how to make a big movie. And that's a common flaw in a lot of film schools or like universities, colleges that have like a film course. They don't teach you how to make a small movie. It's all about how to make a production, like a big production, because that's how they learned. So you have to have like, this Panavision 35 millimeter, 75 millimeter IMAX camera. You need to have this sound equipment. You got to have these tungsten lights. You got to do all. It's all done the big production way, and that's why those courses cost so much in the first place. What really opened my eyes was a book by Robert Rodriguez, and that was Rebel Without a Crew. And it's basically just his diary of when he made El Mariachi. And it talks about how he was going to make a film, just an action movie for the Spanish video market because there's no good action movies there. And he was going to shoot it and stuff and in Mexico and sell it. He would make it for $7,000 and film it in a way that makes it look like it was like $19,000 or something like that, right? So he would he was confident in his skill to make the quality good. And so he tried to, so he filmed the movie and just did it himself, all of like the lighting, all of like the filming and all that stuff. They would do rehearsals with video sometimes. And they finished the movie. He tried to sell it in the Spanish video market. Nobody was interested. And then like so he took El Mariachi to like, okay, fine, I'll just go to like Hollywood or something like that. Just throw it around there, just like some like some it was like a straight to video thing. Turns out, get some circulation to like this one guy who is an aggregator, and then he like, this is amazing. Like, it's like, this is shot with like 19 grand. Actually, we just thought it with like 7 grand, and looks like looks like a quarter grand, and it's like, ever since that time, like, that guy just like kept on circulating and tell all these producers, look, there's this kid from Texas or from New Mexico to Texas or wherever, somewhere down in the South, and he did this movie, and eventually he got to make a remake of it with Antonio Banderas that became Desperado. So, like,
you'll have to excuse me. The executive producers in the building. For those who don't know, the executive producers are the figurehead in this household, and she regularly makes random cameos. But continue, please.
Okay, I thought you'd be like 65 chains with like the.
Oh no! Thank the Lord, nah. But
hey,
yeah,
so my Kool-Aid, my money is sweet.
All right, so
yes,
you
I got my money on my mind. So my shoes, I walk to the money. So my phone, I talk to the money.
Get it? Listen, speaking of money, check my stocks right quick. Right. But yeah, so you had the vision, you had
that was
the
inspiring.
drive.
Yeah, that's what inspired me to kind of, because like when I read that book, I actually already came to Japan. Well, the reason why I came to Japan is because when I was a kid, I saw Kamen Rider Black and like video games and anime and all that stuff. A lot of the stuff that I had interest in was related to Japanese culture. Finally came to Japan when I was 15, and I went to Shikoku, high school in Shikoku. Went back to Canada, said, this place sucks, so I'm going to go to Japan. So I moved to Japan, and yeah, it was like I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to get there, and so I was kind of in a slump because I was like as like an assistant for an action team. I would just like put the mats away, or like if they're doing wire action and the wire was silver, I have to like take a marker and just like paint it black.
They didn't have black wires?
No, they don't have black wires.
Wow. I for some reason I don't realize why that isn't a thing.
Because the paint would scratch off.
Oh man.
Like they have if they have black rope for when they're doing wire action, but like it's too thick. So like in order to have a thinner wire that's like easier to get out of, like to edit, easier to edit out, you'd use a thinner wire, which is a metal one, a mesh metal one, and then me and another guy would just paint it black so that so that's easier to edit out, right? But yeah, I was doing that, and I was stuck doing shit like that, just cleaning mats, putting mats away, holding mats, painting wires, holding a trampoline like sturdy on the ground, all that stuff. I was like a low level guy.
Real knuckle dragging work.
Yeah, it is. And like I'm like, oh man, I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be Kamen Rider, man. I wanted to like freaking transform. And none of these guys, they do the work in like action with like tokusatsu and all that. They don't really care too much for it though, because it's just a job. But I wanted to do it, and at that point I just realized, like, dude, these, like, after I read the book, Robert Rodriguez's book, I was like, you know what, these fucking guys aren't gonna do it for me. I gotta fucking do it myself. And so I decided to make Gun Caliber. And Gun Caliber was it's actually, when I decided to make Gun Caliber, I had two ideas at that time. I had Gun Caliber and Strega. Strega I knew I didn't have the money for, because nor the resources, right? Like I didn't have the resources to do Zoke. At that time, This was around 2008, 2009.
Mm.
And so I didn't have the resources to do zoke. Zoke is like mold making, like Japanese mold making, how like you make the mold, the cast, and then like the sculpture, you sculpt the shape of the helmet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that at the time, and I didn't know anybody who could do it for me.
Mm.
So what I did is I looked up on the internet. On YouTube at the time, there was no tutorials for any of that kind of stuff. What they had,
there was no like 3D printer or anything like that.
there's no 3D printer. This was 2010.
Right.
So
this was hard work.
This was, well, first, what you have to do is you have to sculpt the shape. So I was terrible at measuring my head. So the sculpt was too small because I used a mannequin head, which was smaller than my head. I had to like put more clay to expand the thickness of the helmet, the shape of inside the helmet. And so the only guides I had were these guides for making molds of Halo helmets.
Yeah.
Those are the only resources at the time for like making Halo helmets or Stormtrooper helmets or Boba Fett or Star Wars helmets. Those are the only tutorials on the net at that time. So I followed those tutorials. I just made the whole suit on my own. I've never done this before neither. And I spent like maybe $1,300 US. So like about 13 or 130,000 yen. So like take off 2 zeros. That's pretty much what you get in dollars. So about 130,000 yen. 130,000 yen to make the whole suit for Gun Caliber.
Not just counting props.
No, that's also with the props.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say like even all that plus props, yeah, you had to work a hard amount in order to get that.
It's hard work, and it was costly for me because I was working only a part-time job, right? But I believed in it and what I was doing, and I made the suit, and I couldn't make shoulders. That's why I covered it up with a cape. I didn't know
aesthetically it worked out.
Yeah, aesthetically it didn't work out. I didn't really. I had to like kind of. I was like, okay, maybe what can I do? Because I suck at making shoulders. So what can I do? And then I did that. And so everybody liked it. The whole thing was I wanted to take Boba Fett, Kamen Rider, and this one Japanese comedian called Ken Shimura, and blend it all together, and that was Gun Caliber. And one thing I really loved before was mockumentaries. When I was in Canada, I loved mockumentaries, so I decided to make it because I didn't have any stuntmen. So I'm like, okay, I don't have any stuntmen. What can I shoot? Okay, I'll make a mockumentary. So I made a mockumentary, and that was Stray Bullet. And people loved that. They thought it was funny as hell.
Myself included.
Yeah. And after that, it was like, I met people because they thought it was pretty funny and like they happened to do action. So it was like, oh, well, shit, let's try to actually do this. And so I tried to do it. And I gathered everybody up and we filmed. I was trying to write a script. And I was terrible at writing. I'm still terrible at writing. I'd always have writer's block, terrible at writing. And I was just like, after half a year, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. And then like, everybody's like, everybody who was involved was like, do you have a script? I'm like, no. And we're going to ad-lib it. And then like, they're just, you're nuts, but whatever. Let's just do it.
It worked.
And yeah. We improv'd the movie for 2 years.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious in itself. Just like that's both hilarious and also fucking commendable. An entire movie. We made this entire movie. 2 years, hard work, all improv.
Yeah, it's all improv. There's no script. The whole, like all the dramas, everything was improv. There's no script for Gun Caliber.
That's great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if anybody who's ever seen Gun Caliber, that's why, like, if you've ever wondered why there's like varying tonal shifts, and like 1 minute it's this dude and his buddies just walking down the fucking street hitting each other with garbage and shit. And in another minute, it's just him just on the rooftops. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna smoke like a hard blunt. I'm gonna transform and I'm gonna listen to a little bit of dialogue, but also, we got to hit this fucking J. We got to spark this J first. Like, if you've ever wondered why there is like such wild tonal shifts, there you go. And it works. It really does.
Yeah, it's kind of like really partitioned in a way that's like, okay, we're at this point in the movie, so I should think about it as this part. And I was also editing it as I was shooting it, since it's 2 years. Like we would only shoot it on weekends. That's why it took 2 years, right? So yeah, like I was editing it, so I kind of also had an idea of what scene should be shot next, like for the next
So
shoot.
at least, yeah. It thankfully it wasn't like you just like, all right, so today, guys, we're gonna suit up, we're gonna head out to the streets of Tokyo, and we're just gonna just fuck around, and then if we have like some good material, then we'll use it. It's more like, no, like you had a vision for the most part. It's just that when it came to like the hardline details, you already knew. It was just the small micromanaging bits. He was just like, oh, we could fuck around for that.
Yeah, well, we organized stuff because of like what we learned from past shoots. So the more shoots we did, the more we learned of what we needed for the next time when we shot. So if like we ran out of batteries, okay, so we're gonna bring like 3 batteries this time. It's like, okay, at this point we're kind of hungry, so we should take a break at this point. So we'll do a location scout, and we'll find out where the nearest restaurants are, where the bathrooms are, where all that stuff is, so we can get changed, we can go eat, we could do all that stuff. We learned that more and more as we went along, and the shoots became easier and easier each time. So
that's that look commendable. Again, as I've said, there's so many people, especially in the world of just fan movies, personal project films and whatnot, that they'll either start midway and not do anything, or they'll work on it, but they won't really have like the real drive and passion to like fucking hit it out of the park. So like they'll just make a product, and that's essentially like it's just a product, but it's not like a project, not like a passion project or anything. It's just like, all right, yeah, fuck it. I might as well just finish this. I've already sunk the time into it. Thankfully you had more of a vision to go like, no, like I genuinely I want to drop some fucking heat to the streets, and that's commendable.
because like if you don't do that, that that movie becomes a representation of you. And like if you make a shitty movie, it's because you're a shitty person. And like you don't care. It's like, because like when you're making a movie, it's kind of like having a baby, you know? And you kind of got to nurture it, you got to take care of it, you got to like, work hard for it. So when I see people like what is it, the person who makes Tekka, fuck it, his name his name's Axe Ellis. So like when I mean, like he does this as a hobby. He's like, I do Tokusatsu as a hobby. Yet on his Twitter, he says he's a Tokusatsu specialist. Like, nah, doesn't work.
You can't say that you do something as a hobby and not go all in when you want to actually start making fucking money on it. At that point, it's not a hobby anymore. It's like your life.
Well, I mean, for me, it's my hobby, but like, I'm not so much into making the money as much as I want to just tell the story.
All right.
It's like for me, it's a weird medium, like neither here nor there, and I just want to tell the story. And like even if I have to use my own money to fund the production, I'll do that. Luckily, we have like a decent amount of people who like put money into Strega and stuff like that, and they're really really happy for him. Really thankful for everybody who helped push it out there, because there's a lot of, and for the people who regretted it, too bad, we got your freaking $10 anyway. But
Hey.
like, we still give them all their perks that they deserve, right? Like, we give
Yeah.
them. We already gave like the digital version of the movie
Mm.
to all those backers, and a lot of them, they loved it. They're all like, "Holy shit, you finished it!"
All right.
So that's like the main thing. Just like being able to finish what you start is like a huge part of it. It goes a long way, and it also shows that you're serious. And
Right.
that's what I want to do with a lot of my projects.
It develops good repertoire with your fans and with your staff, because
Like
you don't like no, go on.
There's like there's projects that I haven't finished that I wish I could have, but I mean, those are just out of circumstance.
Yeah,
But
like
I try my best
it's
to finish them though.
it's not the projects that you weren't able to finish. It's not like you didn't want to. It's just like, I genuinely cannot right now.
Like, the resources weren't there. Like just stuff happens. It happens all the time on productions, right? So just stuff happens and you can't finish it.
Because I'm a follower. I'm subscribed to the channel. In case those of you who aren't followed to the man, Garage Pro TV over on YouTube. Quick plug. We'll put the little YouTube subscribe button and whatnot. Put that in post right in the middle. But yeah, I'm subscribed to the man. He sometimes, not even sometimes, like, whenever he gets the chance, he'll upload personal, like, not even just behind the scenes stuff of showing just like his production work, but he's also shown like other projects that he's worked on. I believe the most recent one was Suzaku.
Well, that was a long time ago.
But that is one that you worked on.
Yeah, that was like, just like, what we did is we were shooting a bunch of Tokusatsu action shorts as a series for Tokusatsu Film School, showing people how to make it. Then I started Strega, and like all my resources went into that. But like, yeah, I'm just like kind of glad I started doing it, because like, if I didn't start Gun Caliber, I wouldn't have gotten the job, because that movie got me the job in AV, in so Japanese AV. And
we could definitely transition into that now.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Japanese AV, I wouldn't have been able to make Strega. So it's like what's all around comes around,
All right. For those who are outside and aren't in the know but want to be in the know, Japanese AV, adult video, more the less
porn,
right? The less spicy way of saying that he shot porn. And let's answer some of the head ass, awful, just brain dead, mindless fucking ghoul questions now. Did you have sex with any of the staff?
All the staff is dudes, dude.
There you go. Because the minute that, especially like now,
except for like the makeup
culture,
person, except for like the makeup lady, but she was old.
Hey, look, you do what you got to do to make.
I mean, I think what you want to do is, like, do you have any sex with the actresses? That's what you wanted to ask?
Yeah, because that's definitely also, again, like a question that will always come up for anybody who has worked on like a porno or has worked in the industry. It's like, oh man, do you get to have sex with the ladies, with the workers? Oh, bro, do you get to fuck
like
the girls?
Like,
man?
as like personally, or as like on the job? You mean?
No, just on the job personally. Just not even personally, because that's just you and your personal life. But just on the job.
On the job, I have not had sex with the girls. I had to eat out one girl's pussy.
All right. Well, hey.
And she was super hot. So like, it was during like this. At least. It was during, like, I was actually not an actor. I was an AD. But like, they need people, right? And so this really, really cute girl, and it was like a kunoichi, a ninja girl, type porn.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, hold up, just gotta check my headset again. I think I'm skipping.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's weird. Doesn't sound like it on my end. You sound fine.
Wait. No, it's just on my end because I'm recording, so I just want to make sure.
Okay. All right. Is
Okay.
everything good?
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, there was like this one girl, and it was like a ninja kind of thing, and I'm an evil ninja, and so what she does is like I captured her, and then she's chained up in like this little mini jail, and she seduces me, and has this like jutsu, right, that comes out of her pussy.
Yeah.
So she spreads her legs. So she spreads her legs, and then I'm like, I eat her out. And then she's all like, Nimpo Shamo or something like that. Ninja bubbles. And then like the CG, there's like a bubble that goes around my head. I'm like, and then I suffocate. And then she gets free. That was my
Listen, as far
that was my porno debut.
Right.
I was wearing a mask.
If you're feeling kind of right, you didn't get to relish in the glory of it.
Yeah.
Listen, like I said, it's weird. I'm 3 for 3 with this shit right now. You're now the third porn person that I've had on the show.
Okay.
That's so wild. Like I is that becoming like my demographic almost? Just like, hey, have you done porn and other activities? Yeah. Come on down.
Yeah, personally,
but, all right.
In my personal life, I've had sex with with a actress, like one actress. All right. Yeah, we actually went out.
All right, but that's
so.
Right. But yeah, that's more so like a personal thing. Yeah. But for a fact that like if you've ever told anybody that just a random Joe Schmo on like the streets of Shibuya, just like, yeah, man, I fucking work in porn. They're probably gonna be like, oh man, so do you get to have sex with the girls all day? It's like, no,
they
like
always ask that. It's
yeah,
like,
see? Yeah.
A lot of the time though, I'm just only behind the camera. I'm not in front of it. Only that one time I was in front of it because there wasn't any people.
And
so,
all right, but essentially from your work in AV, you then were able to transition to working on Strega.
Yeah, like the way it worked is like that company that I worked for, they make Tokusatsu AV. So it's so basically kind of like in like the shows with like Sentai shows, you have like a Pink Ranger, and then like a monster will come, and then beat up the Pink Ranger. The Pink Ranger will be like, oh, he's too strong. And then the monster's all like, what are you gonna do now, Pink? Ha 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 ha. And then rips off her clothes. And then like, they had some weird scripts. They would go, okay, like so like the monster would go to the Pink Ranger, and she's like, it's the typical, damaged helmet is now off, and she's all like, her tits and ass are out. And then the monster will be all like, if we make a baby, that will be a sign of our love. And she's all like, no.
Yamete, Tasukete, somebody. You just like really, you as a viewer are just probably watching this, just like this is fucking stupid,
like,
but I'm here.
After the 5th time, like the first 5 times, you're all like, oh man, it was awesome because like when I got the offer, I thought about it and I was like, okay, wait, I get to work with super hot Japanese chicks, choreograph action, and at the same time that all this is for Tokusatsu and porn, I'm in. And so like I did that I would do that 3 to 4 times a month for 3 years. I worked on a couple hundred movies. It's only been 3 years. I did like a couple hundred movies, dude.
And as my previous a previous person who I had on the show has definitely said, and I feel as if you probably felt the same sentiments as well, is that it stops being a oh man, like yeah, I get to fucking look at porn all day, and it's like then it starts becoming like, oh, all right, whatever, fucking porn.
You
Let's
get
hurry up and get it
you
over
get
with.
like desensitized to it after like the fifth time, even just like the fifth
Yeah.
time, right?
Mm.
Because you're constantly shooting naked people, and like these shoots were brutal. They were like, because we have to shoot the action, we have to shoot the
Mm.
drama because it actually has a story,
Mm.
even though the stories are lame a lot of the time. We have to shoot the still photography, the making of, the green screen footage, and the action scenes in a day.
Wow.
We had 24 hours to shoot a 70-minute to 90-minute porn, full with action scenes. Yeah, that's why like I did that like a couple hundred times, right? So from doing AV, I learned about how to do a small production with a
Mm.
limited amount of budget and time, like how to actually pull it off. So like this was, it turns out that working in porn, in Japanese porn, was like a film school for me that I was getting paid for. Like I didn't get paid much. It was only like $300 per film. Like 100, it was either 150 to $300 per movie I did. That was it. But
Right.
the learning process and seeing how it was all put together and then using that, trying to figure out how I'd use that in my own productions, that was just priceless. And so I was really glad that I was able to learn all that. Especially, I kind of forced myself to learn it because I was like having fun for like the first year or so.
Yeah.
And when I opened my bank account, I was all like, I look at my bank account, I'm like, why hasn't my pay gone up? It's because they haven't given me a raise. They gave me more work, but they haven't given
No
me a
money.
raise. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I gotta fucking figure out how I'm gonna use this place because I'm not getting paid enough. So I need to like give myself some resources. So I started talking to the Kobo, which is like the suit making, the suit fabrication part of the building, the floor.
Mm.
I talked to this one guy in the CG department in the basement,
Mm.
and I would ask them stuff. I would learn stuff, and in the Kobo, one person was quitting. His name was Komatsu. This guy used to work as the Kaijin suit maker for Kamen Rider Fives. That was his first job.
Oh wow.
He used to help make the Orphanox for Kamen Rider Fives. And he worked on Kamen Rider all the way from Fives until Kabuto. He made some of the worms for Kabuto. So he was quitting. And he was like at that time he was like the captain. He was the leader of the Kobo, of like
Mm-hmm.
the molding floor.
Yeah.
So he was I was all like, oh, so you're leaving, man? And he's all like, yeah. Well, here, let's exchange numbers because he doesn't have email. He
Mm-hmm.
To this day he doesn't use the internet. he's like
He's a healthier man for it.
yeah, he's a healthier man, dude. But it's so inconvenient when I'm trying to get him to make stuff for me.
Oh. It's like, can you
So
fucking pick up the phone?
yeah, no, he picks up his phone. It's more about like, okay, can you give me the designs? And I'm like, it would be nice if I could mail them to you.
Right. It's like I could send
So,
you an email and it would take literally less than a second.
yeah. So like
But hey.
we exchange contacts and stuff like that, and you know, I got so he quit. I got fired from Giga, the company Giga. I got fired from there like what 3 times. So like I was like, enough's enough. I got to do my own thing, and I said like, dude, you got to help me out. I want to make this project. And he's like, what is it? He's like, Strega. He's like, what's a Strega? It's a Japanese witch. You're gonna be a Japanese witch? No, it just sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
So yeah, he made Strega. There's obviously a lot more stuff that happened, but like yeah,
Mhm.
I eventually riled up the money and got him to make Strega, and yeah, that's that.
Definitely. All right. So let's jump into the do's and don'ts. Like what have you learned over your almost like 15, 16 years so of experience of working in film have you learned are like the do's and don'ts, especially for like guerrilla shooting?
Well, first do your research.
Mhm.
Location scouting is always good, whether it's like a guerrilla shoot or if it's booked at a studio.
Mhm.
Like learning about your locations and just the normal commodities that you need. Where is the toilet? Where's the convenience store? Those things
Mhm.
like, or where's the supermarket, or where is like, a restaurant? Because like if you're shooting guerrilla in the middle of nowhere and there's nowhere to change, that means you got to change in the middle of nowhere. No, you got to go to find a toilet, get changed, and then go there. Or if somebody needs to go to the toilet because you're going to be shooting all day, you need to find a toilet. So you should find a place that's near a toilet. Or if it's far, figure out how you're going to get to the toilet from where you're shooting. Uh, Parks are usually public places, so that's why it's usually safe to shoot in a park. If somebody's saying you're not allowed to shoot in this park, they're on crack because parks are public spaces. So,
Mhm.
like, if there is a certain park, for example, if you're going to shoot in Central Park, obviously you need permissions. But like, if it's just a local park and there's swings and stuff like that, usually you don't need to get permission to
Yeah.
shoot there. Um, Food is always good to have on set. If you're on
Mhm.
location, if it's summer, have like some cool drinks. Bring a cooler. Have like you know, just like some cold sandwiches or something like that. If
Right.
it's winter, have like one of those thermal bags and have like some hot meals in there, like just like some hot sandwiches or something. Uh, Same thing
Because
with like a thermos for like hot, you know, cocoa.
yeah.
Get some water or something like that, hot water, so you can have make some cocoa for people or something, or coffee.
All right.
All that
Because
stuff.
all right. So so it's like basic like smart brain shit. Like something that you're not gonna
It's
like be like a fucking idiot
it's
and
not
like
even smart
forget.
brain. It's just common sense. Like those
Yeah.
kind of things. Like when you're shooting a film, it requires kinetic energy from the human body, whether it be
Mhm.
yourself or other people. So in order to keep that kinetic energy going, you need food. And so like it just makes sense to feed your staff and have food on set or location because you're going to be working together all day long. And if you're not eating and you're hungry, people get really cranky. Usually what makes people not want to be there. And
Yeah.
so having food on set and feeding your people goes a long way. Showing gratitude goes a long way. Just saying thank you, like good job. If somebody did like if somebody does a bad job, obviously you should be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And then like they're gonna think you're in a bad mood, but it's not because you're in a bad mood, it's because they aren't doing stuff properly, and it's gonna cost more time, which costs more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last thing you want to do is pay an extra day, and that's why you're pissed. And if they can't realize that, then they probably shouldn't be there. So like the people who I work with, they know that we have no time, no money, and a lot of stuff to shoot. So they know that they can't fuck around. So, but like if it's like a person who usually doesn't do a shoot
Mm-hmm.
and they're just all like, why are you pissed off? I don't get it. It's supposed to be fun. No, it will be fun when it's edited. Right now, this is creative manual labor.
Like this is the work.
Yeah, this is the actual work part. And if we don't get it done, we can't even afford to be creative later on.
Mm.
So that's what a lot the misconception of a lot of people. I think they're just kind of like too used to seeing like the glitz and glamour of it all rather than seeing the actual manual work
Mm.
of doing a production, whether it be a tokusatsu movie, action movie, comedy. They don't see the work. And so that's why I think before shooting your own stuff, see if you could visit sets, whether it's an independent one or a big one, just like try to like volunteer to help and see how these things work. I think a lot of people they kind of like they they're all like, I want to make a movie, and they don't even know the first thing about making a movie. They don't know what camera they should use. They don't know what they don't know about lighting or anything like that. And like
not even just
doing your
regular lighting,
research.
just like natural lighting at that.
Yeah, like using natural lighting and adjusting the camera to the natural light. They don't even know that, so they don't know about focus or lenses or anything. That's why their stuff doesn't look so good, and it's amateur. So like you just got to do your research. You got to have some common sense. If you're making a movie, study movie stuff. You know, and it doesn't have to be like the big production stuff. How do you make a cheap movie? Study that. There's a good resource called Indie Film Hustle. I guess you're gonna put the link in the description below or something like that. But like, yeah,
but we're gonna have the links for everything down below.
Just have like like
it'll be
Indie
like a
Film
text.
Hustle. Alex Ferrari, that guy is constantly doing interviews with people in the industry, and they're always talking about like everything, all aspects of filmmaking. That is an important resource you should check out. And there's tons of places like where you could learn how to like edit stuff and do effects. Like on YouTube, you got Corridor Digital and like Rocket Jump Film School. Backyard Effects, also really good. That's by Indie Mogul. All those places. I mean, like if you want to learn how to make Tokusatsu Film School.
Right? No. Say it loud and say it proud. God damn it! This is the show. This is the show that has you on it.
Tokusatsu Film School, motherfuckers.
Yeah, there we go. Fucking talk to these individuals.
Yeah.
God damn it. We got you on here. I definitely want you to talk your shit and brag. Because a lot of motherfuckers, especially when they get on there to talk about stuff, they really love to be modest. I'm like, no, fuck that. It's 2021. I could die tomorrow. Modesty is out the building. If I've done some cool shit, I'm bragging about it, and I'm letting the world fucking know.
Tokusatsu Network sucks a gigantic cock. There. That's my honest. There's my honesty.
Well, hey. Well, that'll be on the fucking the online portion. That'll be just for the audio. So now more people can listen in. We'll have more jokes. It's great. But yeah, man, definitely because I for the longest, I've wanted to make like sort of like indie film sort of deals. I wanted to make like my own like urban guy fights fucking demons scenario, sort of like fucking Attack the Block and whatnot.
You know how you do it? Do you know how you just get started though?
The hardest part really is just having the camera.
No, you just do it.
Yeah,
you just do it. That's like you know how much the camera for Strega and Gun Caliber was?
No.
$200.
Crazy. Look at that. There's no
excuses, man. There's no more excuses. You just it's $200 freaking dollars. You work 1 month, you'll have the money. You work 2 weeks, you'll have the money. It's a matter of like just investing.
How badly do you want it?
How bad do you want it? And just like how it's like if you're seeing it as spending or as an investment. And when each time I've spent money on a prop or something, I see it more as an investment.
Yeah, because you're going to use it later.
Yeah, you're going to use it. It's not just, having it. It's about having it so you could use it. And yeah, that's what you
then even then, as far as for like a camera, ironically enough, right now, you don't even need like a $200 camera half of the time to make movies. You can use your phone. Fucking musicians nowadays, they're rating and making their own music videos just using their cell phone. Fucking Steve Lacy, one of my favorite musicians right now, he filmed his entire music video for like 2 of his songs just using his iPhone. And I'm like, that's incredible, the amount of ingenuity that people have. He already made his fucking album on his phone and GarageBand. And then he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna make the music video also on the phone. I'm like, fuck it. At this point now, there's little to no excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuses. Just shoot it. Even if you're using your phone, just shoot. That's another thing I learned from like the Rebel Without a Crew book.
Mm-hmm.
Your first movie will be shit no matter what.
Yeah.
Your first book, your first song, your first podcast, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's gonna be shit no matter what. So what you should do, what he did, is he filmed like 15 or like 20 short films. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but each time they got better. And if your first movie is going to be shitty anyway, just get it out of there. Just shoot it.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, just shoot it and do it and then learn from it. You know, same thing with you. You said you want to make film, do it. Just do it like a 2-minute short. Start with a 2-minute short. Then next time, okay, let's make it a 5-minute short this time. Okay, well, I'm pretty confident and we're getting used to the flow. Okay, let's make a 10-minute short. And then eventually it becomes a 70-minute movie. You know, when you become like, it's like, okay, I learned like all about like location scouting. Okay, well, now I'm going to bump it up and I'm going to do this now. So it's like, you got to get the bad experiences out first so that you could learn from them, so you could gain experience and level up to be able to do newer stuff and better stuff. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years. And yeah, me having been able to like do 24-hour shoots 3 to 4 times a month for 3 years and ended up being like a couple hundred movies. It's a little unfair to say that like I'm, experienced and all that stuff. It's an overstatement. It's an understatement to say that I'm experienced, because there's just too much shooting, but it's valuable to me because I was able to like learn from it all. And, that's why there's such a huge gap in quality from Gun Caliber to Strega. It's like, they're two totally different movies. Like there's still stuff left over from Gun Caliber in Strega, but like you can see it.
Different world.
But
it's a whole different world. You can definitely see
it's the same world, but it just looks.
No. I mean, as in terms of both direction and also just from like technical skill, it's an entirely different world.
Yeah, right.
Because like Strega, you can see like you've got like VFX on like buildings and whatnot, like the hero bar and stuff. Like the hero bar and whatever, and like in Gun Caliber is basically just like a JPEG of like the building and like text just on it. Meanwhile, Strega, you've got like whole VFX, you've got like holograms and whatnot. You fucking the budget's there and the work's there. Not even just the budget. Just take out the budget. The work has been shown that you've definitely like learned over time.
Yeah. It's like that's what you got to do if you're going to like, if you have a vision or a dream of what you want to do, you got to work towards it and figure out, okay, what steps can I take? So that's like if you're going to make a movie in homegrown filmmaking, like if you want to do like guerrilla filmmaking or stuff like that, you gotta have, first of all, you need a plan B for every plan A. You need a plan C for every plan B. If you can't shoot here, you're kicked out of this location. Where can you shoot? How from what point should you continue shooting? And what can you do? If you say, like, for example, one thing that is usually done in Tokusatsu is switching the locations. So if I get kicked out of one location, I'm like, okay, well, let's just, as soon as that guy leaves, we'll just say like, okay, we're leaving now. We just got to pack up. Let that guy leave and start rolling the camera again. Uppercut me, and then I'm going to fly off. And then we'll leave. And then we move locations
into the next scene.
And then we move locations, and then roll the camera. I fly into the scene. And
it's foolproof.
Yeah, man. It's a tokusatsu. It's a tokusatsu technique, dude.
All right. And again, the man's giving you the free play-by-play on his YouTube channel. Everything from cinematography to how to make these motherfucking suits, all there for free. $0.99. You are literally hemorrhaging money by not subscribing to this man and looking at this content. Real motherfucking talk on the channel right now. Hemorrhaging money by not subscribing. And if you, especially for my people who like cosplay and like, or short film visionaries and whatnot, if you're all of the
toxic Toku fans, all of you are all welcome.
Right, like look, if you want to learn the due process of how to make a project, go to the person who's already completed at least 3 projects. Like, you're not gonna sit there and go, oh man, I don't like Michael Jordan, even though he's got 9 rings, But if Michael Jordan invited you to the gym to fucking play with him to learn the ins and outs, you're gonna fucking play.
Exactly.
The Jordan's right here for the Toku community, y'all. Like this, the Sentai community, the Jordan's right here. Like I would consider him more of an AI, if anything, you know. All right, so yeah, I definitely want to have like a few horror stories and whatnot of just filming and just nonsense, because that's like everybody hears. No, not well. If you want porn, the Strega, Gun Caliber, the other projects and whatnot, because everybody hears about the good stuff when it comes to filming, but nobody hears about the shit. Nobody hears about the fucking modern warfare that y'all gotta go through.
Well, I gotta talk about how I got fired 3 times.
Oh God, how did that even?
Okay, there's this. Okay, here's the thing. Giga, the company that shoots the Tokusatsu porns, they actually take the funds that they receive from like the proceeds of the porns and put it towards a kids show for Chiba.
Oh wow. That is not something that I thought would ever actually be a thing. That's just said what?
Well, yeah, they because like in Japan they have these things called local heroes, and those are like, so they'll have like a hero for Kumamoto, they'll have a hero for Hokkaido, a hero for Osaka, a hero for like, you know, Saitama and stuff like that. So there was like a talk to make this local hero for Chiba, or for Kisarazu actually, based on this shrine called Yatsurugi Shrine. So that eventually became the idea for Phoenix Yatsurugi, Hojin Yatsurugi. And so this thing went on for like, what, 3 seasons and stuff like that. It's still going. Wow. I think they're at season 8 now. And so they've been doing it for 8 years. By the 3rd year, because this is while I was working at Giga. So like I got called into the boss, and like, well, I got a call from my director first, and he's all like, "Hey, Bueno, the boss would like to see you. Are you free? You know, for dinner, maybe like next week?" Like,
oh no, it's one of those.
What I do? I was like, no, he just wants to. He's heard about you, and he wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh boy, okay. So, in season 3 of Yatsurugi, Yatsurugi has this secondary hero come in. His name's Gaion, and he's like, hold on. So Gaion is kind of like that blue. I don't know if you've seen him. He's like that blue lion kind of character.
We're gonna have like a picture up if I can.
Yeah, I'll send you the stuff later on. Like,
all right, cool.
But like, yeah, like Gaion, I'll send you the movie too. But like, Gaion was like the secondary character, and so the actor, I became friends with the actor because like the actor actually helped out with the action for one of the porns. His name is Nita. And later on, he actually went on to be the Red Ranger for, I think, what was it? Dino Charge, Ninja Steel, and Beast Morphers. He was the Red Ranger.
Oh, so he was the one in the suit. All right,
he's the suit actor, yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So Nita, like I met up with Nita, and he was all like, he was at the dinner as well. I'm like, what are you doing here? And it was like, I don't know, I just got invited. And the boss was like, his name is Izawa. So the boss was all like, I heard a lot about you, how you're doing a lot of the action for the porns. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of inspired by a lot of like Hong Kong action stuff. So it's like, yeah, I've seen your work, really good stuff. Listen, we're going to make a Yatsurugi movie. I was like, okay, cool. Yes. And besides that, we'd also like to make a Gaion movie. And I was thinking, maybe you could be the director. I was like, boss, I was waiting for you to say that. It's like, and everybody was laughing. We're all drinking, and like, well, I wasn't drinking because I quit drinking by that time. But yeah, I was having like my cass of soda. I was drinking my cass of soda. We're all having sushi and yakitori and all this stuff. And you know, the boss and all that, he was just like, okay, see you boys, and you like, I'm counting on you. I'm like, okay. So me and Nita were all like, fuck, man, what are we gonna do? It's like, well, we got to make this fucking thing hot, man. Dude, your skills, my fucking action directing. Let's fucking do this. And so we're all hyped, right? We went back to like Nita's apartment. We're just pitching ideas back and forth. Yeah, we have characters like this and that, like that. And then I got um the person who got me the job at Giga. He works at this one store in Akihabara, which exclusively sells Giga's films, and his name is Kuga. I call him Common Writer Kuga because like he's a writer, and so like, but he works as like a clerk in the store, and I was all like, dude, you're not gonna believe this. I'm the fucking director for the Guyon movie. And then he's all like, holy fucking shit, how the fuck is I don't know how it happened. He just called me to dinner and gave me the job. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, dude, you gotta write the fucking script for me, man. Come on. And he's like, okay, I got it. I got you. Okay. So Kuga, he's writing the script. And me and Nita are all telling him like all of like the ideas of all this stuff, right? We're telling him the ideas like, yeah, we're gonna have these characters and stuff. We're gonna move it. We're gonna go because like Yatsurugi, that's his thing in Chiba. We're gonna take it to Tokyo. We're gonna take this fucking battle to Tokyo. We're gonna fight Asakusa. And it's like gonna fucking. We're gonna make it more darker too. It's not gonna be It's not gonna be like fucking like erasers. He's gonna fight like fucking erasers, pencils, and rulers that have legs. He's gonna fight like these mutants, and we're gonna get all of like the freaking suits from because like they keep all the suits from the porns and everything in the building. So there's over like a couple hundred suits. I'm like, we're gonna borrow all the fucking suits. It's gonna be a huge fucking battle. We're gonna do all this shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome, man. And then we're all super hyped. Like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And we do like we took the time to film storyboards, to film like video storyboards of how we want the scenes to play out. And we're all like, dude, this fucking storyboard looks hot. This looks awesome, man. This looks fucking cool. Man, imagine how it's going to look. And it's like after that, we showed it to like the boss, like, yeah, this looks really good. And we're all like, you know what? We need some promo material. So we need to like we need to like show people that we're doing this. And then we got some of the suits and I shot like a little action teaser, like a 1 minute action teaser. And everybody's like the guy who was working in like the PR department for Giga or like Yatsurugi department, whatever. He shows it to the theater that's going to partially fund it and also show the movie, right?
Yeah.
So they're all like, "Whoa, you're gonna have this kind of action on in the movie?" It's like, yeah. Who shot this? This one kid from Hollywood. I'm not from Hollywood. I'm not from fucking Hollywood. But like they wanted to sell it to the theater. So like it's like, yeah, this one kid from Hollywood, his name is Bueno. So it's like, yeah, it was just like it was funny. So all these rumors are circulating. They're making a Guyon movie. It's going to be directed by a foreigner. It's going to have tons of action. It's going to be dark. And then the film starts shooting.
And then none of that.
So we have all this stuff planned, right? All this cool fucking shit planned. And then other directors in the company, they have to help out with the movie, right?
So it's a too many chefs in the kitchen scenario.
I'm the new kid. I've only been working there for 3 years, and I become a director for like a movie that's going to be in the theaters. And they've been working their ass off in that company for like 10 plus years. And they're working under me. They are pissed, right?
Yeah.
I'm not Japanese neither. And I can't read the script. I can't read kanji. They're like, this fucking kid, this fucking fresh off the boat kid gets my job.
Mad.
They were so pissed off and jealous. They're all like, I'm gonna fuck this guy's shit up.
Internal sabotage. Come on.
Internal sabotage. So
that's fucking terrible.
So I was like, I went like we're up for the shoot. It's like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. and I need to go to the toilet. And then like I come out of the toilet, everyone's gone. I see them down the street, they're already shooting. And I was like, wait, I'm the fucking director. What the fuck's going on here? And then and then for a good how many hours, I'm just standing there, and then the AD is all like, and start, roll camera, start, and he's calling all the shots. I'm just standing there with my arms crossed behind him. And then he looks at me and he's like, you want to call it? And I was like, okay, start. I was just like so unenthused. I was just so fucking pissed.
This is just the betrayal.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then like another AD would be all like, hey, Bueno, did you do something like that? I was like, could you speak in Japanese a little slower? And then he'd be all like, no, fuck it, forget it. And I was dealing with that all day that day. It's like everybody was fucking shitting on me. And then
fucking just that's a really
Nita,
fucking shitty thing.
Even Nita, he was all like, Bueno, what's going on, Bueno? I was like, wait, so you're gonna fucking backstab me too, huh?
I'm just like, wait, why would he attack you when he clearly sees you're not there?
He doesn't want to be attacked. That's why.
That's why. Yeah, because I'm just like, wait, you clearly see that your boy isn't there, bro. Speak up. Like, then you want to film Heat? Come on, like,
yeah,
help him.
No, as it turns out, he was also jealous as well. He should have been the director. He thinks
it'd be your own boy sometimes.
Yeah,
and New Jack City and my brother's keeper. Like that type of shit.
It's like I was doing my thing and he's Chris Rock on coke, right? That's what he was. He was like in the back room on coke. Like, oh. Why is it me? That's what it was like.
Get him out of there. He's doing this. He's doing this stuff. They're found about. Get him out of there. Now I'm fucking watching New Jack City. Oh God. But that's so shitty.
Yeah, it was everybody fucking stabbed me in the back, dude, that day. Everybody. And then like we had this fight scene that was supposed to be longer. It got cut because Nita wanted to do more close-ups of his face.
Of his face or of the character?
His face.
Come on, man.
He wanted more close-ups. He wanted the action to look, I don't know. And then like everybody, like the people on set, they're all like, dude, this action looks hot. When I shot the action, everybody shut the fuck up. Like everybody just shut the fuck up and watched me work. Right. Yeah. But Nita wanted to pull out a trampoline. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? We don't got time for this. We didn't have a trampoline in the fucking like in the storyboard. Why are you doing this now? Why are you wasting time like this? It's like, I gotta do this. It's like, fuck, what the fuck? So, just doing all this unnecessary stuff. We go up to like we have to shoot on top of a rooftop. It's bloody cold, and he's all like trying to take charge because like everything was going bad that day for me. So he's all like, "Okay, I'm gonna take over." It's like, oh God. And then
like, if you're gonna do it, then fuck it. Then get it out of the way, and I pray that it's good.
He totally ignored everything from the script and the storyboard, and
job built up,
and just did his own thing, and it's just this long choreography that is so it's totally nonsensical. It makes no sense, and we shot it.
It's like, well, it's here. You got your product, and I take it you showed it to the boss, and the boss is like, this isn't what I
everybody
wanted.
like the boss was actually a character in the movie, and he was coming on set once it was the evening. So everybody ratted me out to the boss, like, Bueno can't do the job. He can't do the job. All the guys that were like, they threw me under the bus, basically. They were just like, they're all going to him like, it's we lost so much time today. Bueno's like, he can't do the job. He can't do the job. I don't know why. Like, you gotta like kick him off. And so I got fired. And then they saw the dailies of the action, and they're like, okay, we gotta hire Bueno again. So they brought me back.
Yeah, that's usually how it is. It's like, fine, fuck it, get rid of your D1 All-Star. I'm gonna go fucking party.
Yeah, they're like, get rid of Bueno, and then like the director who actually wanted me on the film, he's like, we need Bueno back. So they get me back, and then they're all like, okay, we're gonna film the huge fight scene that you wanted to do, the Kaijin Matsuri, which is like, I wanted to do like a Sakamoto style like action scenes, just have like a whole fuckload of monsters, and he like the heroes just beat the shit out of all of them one by one.
Like he's going
dishing out all
down,
the
going down the line.
Yeah, like dishing out all the fucking like finishing moves, the super moves, and all that stuff. And we started shooting, and I was like, I'm going to shoot this how I want. And then Nita was all like, so what are you going to do? I'm going to shoot it.
Sometimes
stay the fuck out of my way.
Sometimes you gotta fucking talk to these individuals.
Yeah, everybody. I was like, everybody stay the fuck out of my way and let me work. And everybody stayed out of my way that day. That's why it's the best scene in the movie.
I feel as if 9 times out of 10 that probably would be like, because usually when you see that, that's usually like the most memorable thing, especially for like Sentai stuff. The hero, he's staring down like at least 70 fucking monsters and like 300 goons. He's just like, I can fucking take these guys. And he's just straight beeline through them. If he's got a sword, he's fucking cleaving them in two and shit like that.
I used all of my filming tools at that time that I had at the time. I used all of my techniques in that scene. And it's the best scene in the movie. Everybody agrees. They're like, fuck, that scene was fucking cool, you know. And then we have to shoot the finale.
And then
like we finished that
from heat to
we shot that part, and it was all awesome and stuff like that. And the movie was supposed to be finished, but then we get word from the sponsors over in Chiba, and they're like, "Why are you doing the movie over in Tokyo?" Well, I mean, Yatsurugi, he's Chiba's, he's like Kisarazu's hero, and Gaion, he's just a secondary character. You could have him be in anywhere you want. No, we're paying for this. He should be doing he should be protecting Chiba or Kisarazu. And it's like, okay. So what the boss made Kuga do is rewrite it so that so that Gaion and the bad guy are teleported back to Chiba.
Oh no! There's a billion ways that could have worked out.
It was all a dream, and then they're in Chiba. And a bunch of fucking talking raccoons are telling him to protect the children. And I was just like, this is so fucking stupid. But we had to shoot it, and then we had it. It became a hero stage show. We go to this location, and it's all in the rain. It's in the rain too.
This is just getting progressively worse.
Yeah, and there's two cameramen. I'm like mainly for the action stuff, and there's a cameraman who's like an old dude for the drama stuff. So what the director did was experiment with who could do what. And he would make the old man, the old cameraman, shoot some of the action, and then I would shoot the action, and then that's why like the scene, that action scene is just so weird. It looks so weird. It'll look good and then bad, good and bad, and then and then it turns into a hero show, a hero stage show, because you have all these Chiba families gathered around the stage, and all the kids are all like, okay, you know how like Japanese hero shows are?
Yeah, like the kids have to chant, they give
their
energy to the hero.
Yeah. There's the whole Dragon Ball shit. Like they have like the one point where it's all like, oh, he's too strong, and then the One-san, right? The girl, the MC, she'd be like, oh look, he's in a pinch. Kids, you have to give him your energy. And then like they're all like, gambare. And then it's like, that's not loud enough. It's not loud enough. It's like gambare. And then all of a sudden it's like,
fucking powers up.
I got so much power.
Yeah, the traditional wrestling. I'm raising the heat. Exactly. I'm building up tension. Let me finally Hulk out.
It's like this. Yeah, Hulkamania. It's like,
yeah, like he's powering up for Hulkamania, the classic. And he fucking gets up. He starts to no-sell whatever the enemy throws at him.
Yeah,
he might like go like,
it's all like, and then it's like, and then Hulk is all like,
not today, buddy. Like he does the finger wave.
Not today, brother.
The monster will probably throw like a weaker version of his previously shown insta-kill super death move. It doesn't work because the kids have chanted enough.
Yeah. So that's what. Imagine that, but in a movie.
Oh. If this was just an episode thing, okay, but a movie.
It gets better. It gets better. They chant him. He gets powered up, and then he gets beat down again.
Why?
I don't know.
Chanting was so
it's
like I'm
dude.
Trying to really grasp this.
It's Nita's idea.
Yeah, look, it's his world. It's his Barbie world. We're just girls in it at this point. At that, for shit like that, like, because I'm like, how basic storyline structure, you know, that's just basic anime bullshit 101. Yeah. Just like the hero's been beaten. How's he gonna get out of a pinch this time? And if he's getting like the power of friendship from his boys or whatever.
So like he powers up and he's beating him down. He's beating down the bad guy. You pull out the trampoline again, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. You're gonna do a trampoline in the rain. Yeah, that's really great.
That's super. And you guys were on a rooftop for that shot, right?
Oh no, this time we weren't on a rooftop. We were in on some sort of platform behind a factory.
Okay, because I was about to say, like, rooftop on, like, trampoline on the rooftop in the rain. That is all signs of just a bad fucking idea. Like,
I kind of wish that happened.
But like, you're kind of scaring me, bro.
I probably would have made a better movie if that happened.
Oh God, just like
I'd be all like,
life and death right now.
He like the Shishido Kaito's like he's transferred to another dimension. So this new guy came along who's actually more obedient. He's gonna listen to what I want to say to him. He's a new hero now, and he's Guyon. Like,
man.
But like, so like, here's the thing. They're prepping the trampoline. We're like, oh God, this is not gonna be good. It's Nita with a trampoline in the rain. It's not gonna be good. So he does his thing, and he does this attack where his kick. I'm doing it. I'm right in front. And he punches this way to the frame, and he kicks that way to the frame.
Wait, what? Wait.
And he's jumping towards me.
So he's jumping at you.
Yes,
and he's
the camera.
Essentially, he's throwing a right hook and
to the side. Yeah, he's throwing a right hook to this side of the frame, and he's kicking to that side of the frame, jumping towards me. And we're all looking into the frame, and we're just like, what the fuck is this supposed to be?
Yeah, that doesn't even seem anatomically correct.
Here, it should be towards the frame.
Yeah.
It should be, because he's jumping towards, so it should be either a kick. If it's going to a kick, put the foot towards the bottom of the lens, or if it's a punch, do that to the bottom of the lens. He's doing neither, but jumping towards us. And we're just like, is this supposed to be a kick or a punch? He's like, I'm doing it so you could choose between either.
What?
I'm like,
why?
What? No. Decide if it's a punch.
Photography works.
I was like, decide if it's a punch or a kick. It's a kick.
You could have just did that from the start, bro. Nito, what are you doing?
That's why, like, when you take a look at the movie, the kick is out of frame, but all of a sudden you see it kick towards the chest. That was the only way I could salvage the shot. And
that is so unfortunate.
So I added the chest shot in after, so that people will know it's a kick.
You're gonna at least see it. Just like, okay, he's doing this weird jump pose. Okay, what's the ending action? Okay, it's a kick. Thank God.
So that's why, like, when you watched, you're like, that was a weird kick. Like, people are all like, what is that? Well, that was a weird kick.
And even then, just from like, I don't even know why he would attempt to do that. Just from like traditional Sentai conventions, right? You would typically see ending finale move. 9 times out of 10, if it's like a rider, it's going to be like a rider kick. Or if they have a blade, it's going to be like rider, blade, final attack, ride, or some shit like that. Yeah. And that's usually what it goes to. 1, you never really have like a lot of finishing moves that are just punches. And 2, usually, and then this is more just on a choreography standpoint.
It's more just common sense, but like, right, he lacks that, and then I had to fucking wipe his ass because of it.
Like, I'm still just
you'll see the movie. Like, I'll send you the movie, dude.
Oh my God!
I'll send you the movie.
Thank you, so I can watch this and then basically ask you just what the fuck is going on.
You know what you could do? Do you want to do a watch through? Like,
I would love to for like another stream or anything like that. Or if anything,
no, we could do it. We could do it later on. You'll just cut it as a separate segment.
Yeah, so
because it's only like 45 minutes long, so it's not that long.
Sure, and we can definitely, if anything, I can react to this shit.
Yeah.
Half punch, half kick, Hulkamania. Because I'm still trying to fucking. Because like, all right. Because like I draw sometimes, so I kind of got a basis of what anatomy does. I've played enough fighting games. I've seen enough fucking Kamen Rider. I know how the human body is supposed to move.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's throwing a right hook and a right hook punch and a fucking like drop kick, hook kick at the same time?
At the side.
Side kick at the side, jumping at somebody. None of this makes sense.
It makes perfect sense in his head, man. It makes perfect sense to him. So like, okay, we finished the fight scene. Everybody's like fucking balls cold. They're just like out in the rain. The kids are like screaming Guyon, top of their lungs. And
he has to do like his ending speech.
This is the ending speech. He takes off his helmet and then he joins everybody and he looks up, like the camera is all up in the air and he looks at the camera and he's just all like, "Long live Kisarazu!" The end.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not gonna say if it's a good or a bad ending. I'm gonna say it's an ending.
Oh man, I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, my name is on this.
Oh no, that's what the real pain is. It's like
that's the real pain. My name's on. My name
your rep that you slowly were building that kind of also got like fucking remixed of having you be from Hollywood. Just like,
Yeah.
Well, there goes that. There goes that little leverage I could have used.
Yeah. It was just
Oh
so
man,
I was
that fucking sucks.
but yeah, that's how it turned out. And then it got released in the theater, and then everybody had all sorts of questions.
Primarily, was that supposed to be a thing? Was that supposed to
But
be a punch or a kick?
but they all loved the action, especially
All right.
the one that I did. They said that was it was like we had like a survey. It's like, which
Yeah.
scene do you think was the best scene in the movie? And they're always say like the Kaijin Matsuri, man, it's so good.
All
They
right,
all said,
that's at least good.
yeah, that
Like
I got that. So
you can at least look back on it as like at least my portion of this shit pie tasted good.
yeah. Oh, I also got to do the voice of the Guion system.
That's cool.
So I was the voice. So.
All right, at least you can now in partiality say I was Guion. That was me. I did the work. I filmed it, and
like I afterwards I just went back to making porns and stuff like that, and
if you were given the chance of like somebody was like, hey, yeah, we want to hire you to like do like not even like a commercial, but like if they genuinely were like, hey, yo, we kind of want you to like direct an upcoming season of like Kamen Rider or something like that, and they threw the money at you, would you go for it?
Yeah.
All right, because then
that's one of the. I mean, like everybody bangs on how about like, oh man, Bruno hates Kamen Rider. That's not true. I love Kamen Rider. I just hate the shitty ones. It's like you guys like Kamen Rider just because it's in the title. It doesn't matter if it's shit. Like Saber sucks a gigantic dick right now, and you guys love it, and it's like so bad. And they're all like, no, it's good. It's like, no, this is fucking garbage. This is fucking terrible. It's like, but Sakamoto did this episode. Yeah, the action's hot. The show still sucks.
Right? Like, listen, just because you have one good thing in a product doesn't mean that the whole product's bad.
Yeah. It's like,
shit.
Like it's like if something is good, I'll praise it. If it's bad, I'll bash it. It's as simple as that. But like, they can't really. A lot of people they can't really wrap their head around that. It's like
they don't want objectivity.
It's Tokusatsu and it's from Japan and Kamen Rider's in the title. It has to be good. It's like, no,
man.
It's not always the case.
Right. Like, listen, as somebody who grew up reading comics and whatnot, sure enough, I grew out of the phase of, oh no, the writer wrote it, so it must be good. Like, nah, bro. After a while, and you start reading how your character can be written in 7 different ways from different authors, 9 times out of 10, the guy who you like the most isn't writing the mainline version of the book. Because if I were to compare Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man to Nick Spencer's Spider-Man, Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man is a whole fucking grown adult with actual problems and pathos and can fucking do shit. Meanwhile, other characters are trying to treat him like a fucking baby and doesn't know how to fucking do taxes. And you're like, you'll read that and go like, okay, this is good. Why can't the whole thing be good? It must be garbage. It's like, no, man, you don't like the mainline Spider-Man. You're not a real fan. And I'm like, no, you got to be objective.
Yeah, like with me, I wouldn't mind it. Like I wouldn't mind getting hired to do Kamen Rider or Sentai or Ultraman or anything of the sort because like I see that as an opportunity in many different ways. First of all, I get even if it's a shitty Kamen Rider, I'd do it, just to say that I worked on Kamen Rider. Yeah, and my name would be attached to it. It's like people be like, "It's so shitty, you can't believe it." But like, how many times do you get in your life to be asked if you want to direct Kamen Rider?
Yeah,
that's what I have to think about, and I'll probably do it. I'll probably get fired, but I can say that I did it. It doesn't matter to me if I get fired or not, and like I get to shoot it the way I want to shoot it. Like if like I'll do this, but like I want the fight scenes to look like this. I get to finally do that, but I don't expect much from it. If I do it, it's gonna be as a job. For the moments where I get to inject being like a Tokusatsu fanboy, I'll do it at that point in time. But the first thing would be to get the work out the window.
All right.
That would be like the first and foremost thing if I was to work on a bigger project like that. But I would take like the way that I usually make my stuff. Try to like make sure everybody's having if it's going to be a long day in very shitty shooting conditions, I'd just at least try to like match the mood, trying to like make the mood on the set. Like hey, everybody, we're getting pizza. All that shit.
Because sure, hey, fucking pizza will raise anybody's morale.
Yeah. So all that stuff, like okay, Joel has to do 12 jumping jacks with the shirt off. And people laugh. All that's it. Like all that stuff.
And even then, like say if you did wind up doing like a Kamen Rider show or whatnot, even if like if it like overall is bad, message boards talk. I've clearly been on enough of them to see. I've been on fucking 2chan, 8chan, and whatnot. I've been able to see the actual cosmic horror of fucking ghouls online, especially when they talk about shows.
They only say that stuff because they know that they're not going to get heard by the big corporations.
Yeah,
they only
sure
know
enough,
that that's all they do. That's why they're able to like be all toxic and talk the way they do and talk.
They're able to talk a lot of shit, but when it's time for them to eat the humble pie and whatnot, that big slice serving of it, they'll eat it, and they'll eat it happily, because if they don't, people are gonna fucking remind them nonstop, and especially then from there, that can wind up turning into an entire avenue of employment. So sure enough, like they'll go like, oh man, well, Bueno, I didn't really like how he did the entire direction of the series, but his fight scenes were really good though. And then that's when like the discussion will start changing from, oh man, I didn't like his regular direction, but his fight direction is good. Sometimes that word travels, right?
Yeah. Like I think a lot of people also, they kind of underestimate seeing the final product and the process. So a lot of people talk about how they could film action better than me, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'd like to see your work. They never show me any of their work because they don't have any work. They just talk. It's like that's just how the people are. They just talk online. It's all big talk. They have no fucking skills. That's all it is, each and every time.
You hate the what, kids? You hate to see it.
Yep. What do you want to know about the game?
So I'm not gonna ask anything dumb like when's it coming out, because I've already seen the timetable of that. That ain't anytime soon. Primarily, what I do want to know is, are you looking forward, or rather, because of like I believe there was a post a while back that was more so inclined towards like the fighting game community, and then like other devs started latching onto it, and it eventually made its way to Kamiya, who fucking tore the dude to shit. But it was primarily like resorted primarily to fighting game community, which was if that players know more than the devs, and that a player who's played the game for like 1,000, like 100+ hours and whatnot, is going to know more about the game than the dev who's sunk in like at least like 6 years or whatever working on it. I wanted to genuinely gauge your opinion on that, because at me as a player and not as a developer, I can see their side of the argument, where it's like, okay, we're learning new combo strings or whatever that they probably didn't think of, but I know that they programmed those actual combo strings to be in there in the first fucking place. So I would like to know from you, as in a developer's standpoint, how do you feel about somebody saying that, like, oh yeah, it's because I played this for like 1,000 hours, I know more about the game than you, who's worked on it for almost like fucking 5 years?
Well, first I would ask if that person knows C++.
Right. Off the
because I could guarantee you, like, probably a good 90% of all FGC people don't.
I'll tell you this right now, they don't.
If
80% of the FGC does not know about coding, and at least the last 20 know about it and only know the bare minimum, and that's only if they decided to get into that as either a job for their actual job or just a hobby. They don't know.
If I think, like, as far as like players knowing more than devs, that would probably be only true if those players were the testers. Because like, and it's like, even if like testers, like the players, like let's say I make my fighting game and then I have a bunch of people testing it, you know, that doesn't automatically make them know more than it. They're just finding the bugs, right?
Yeah.
They're helping me find the bugs. They don't know how to code it. They don't know how like it's written. They don't know how like any of this promo art is illustrated. There's so many facets to developing a game. It's like, how can the player know more than the actual developers or the PR department or any of that stuff? I think like the entitlement for like FGC players knowing more than devs, it's just not there. They I think that like they know that they know that they have a good understanding of what they feel would be good for a game, but they don't know how to execute it.
All right, so more or less, like they know how to play the game,
They
but
know
they
how to
don't know
play
how
the
to
game.
make it.
They don't know how to make it. Like, I think one person, like a few people who know how to actually like play and make a game, like Dave Serlin, who made Fantasy Strike because he did like Super Street Fighter. Was it the Super Street Fighter HD Turbo Remix? You know, so he made a fighting game already. So like when it came to Fantasy Strike, he already kind of half knew what to do.
Yeah, him Keats with fucking him being like a pro Geef player and whatnot, and then just going like, I'm gonna fucking help remake Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
And then
like,
Killer Instinct became fucking incredible.
Yeah, and then like even Combo Fiend when he worked on Infinite, I mean he's like a pro gamer and he
he's
actually
arguably one of the greatest Street Fighter players alive.
Yeah, and he got to help out
one
with
of the Marvel
Infinite.
players alive. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's true to some points. Like in those points, it's like, yeah, like those people who were involved with development who actually were players, those games actually ended up being really good games, you know, like maybe minus Marvel Infinite. And then like Fantasy Strike has questionable marketing practices, but all in all, they hit their mark, right? Like Fantasy Strike was aimed towards a certain demographic, and it's still going on. It's like, to me, Fantasy Strike is like, that's how you package a fighting game. Free to play, rollback netcode, crossplay. That's how you package a fighting game.
And the rollback netcode, sadly, is a thing that has become like a hard selling point for fighting games now because of the fact that, you know, with COVID, and as a lot of Westerners have realized, and that Japan sadly had to like admit, they don't really do, because motherfuckers are just like, hey, yo, go to Green Arcade, come down the block, come outside, come to the arcade.
It's not just that. The resources aren't there for rollback netcode.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so do you know how to program rollback netcode?
Absolutely not.
Welcome to Japanese devs. It's like, well, why don't you just hire people? And it's like,
and I was gonna say that's gonna be like the main thing that everybody would then immediately ask. So like, well, why don't you just outsource and just hire somebody who knows it? And it's like, do you know how hard that narrows it down?
It's like, okay, so since it's a Japanese company, first we need to hire translators, and then those translators are going to go back and forth and be the middle person between us and the people who know how to code, because usually people who know how to code rollback netcode, they're usually C++ people because it's developed in America. So it's mostly a Western thing. Okay, so we have to find a translator who knows what we're talking about, that's already a hurdle. Like a translator who knows about what we're talking about, that's going to be a conduit between us and the people who code it, the net code. And so that's why, like, and then all the FGC people were like, just add rollback net code. It's like it's a fucking salami in a sandwich. You just put it in there, and it'll be
put the fucking rollback net code in my game. Come on, Hideki, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, still like, in terms of like it being internationally implemented, it's just, yeah, like they don't have the resources over here just yet. They're starting to. I mean, like for Accent Core, they hired Mike Z, and then they fired Mike Z. So
Mike Z consistently opening his big fucking mouth and then also just saying the worst shit and then not being a smart person. Yeah, they hired Mike Z and they were like, "All right, your services are no longer needed. Get the fuck out."
But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. If they did the same thing for Strive.
Yeah,
I mean, like it's just whatever gets it done. Like hire him, fire him, give him his pay, bye bye.
Yeah, it's more so that people will probably hear it and go like, "Oh man, Guilty Arc System Works hired Mike Z. Oh no, well, woe is me." It's like, look, you're not gonna give a shit about Mike Z making the rollback. You're gonna give a shit if the game is good or not. Mike Z making the rollback isn't gonna fucking fix anything because there's a fair chance Mike Z might fuck up the rollback, and then what?
Yeah, but like I mean, like the whole thing with like rollback netcode being implemented in fighting games and all that stuff, like it's not so easy. But the FGC, they think it's easy. So, like it's free. It's true. It's free. It's, but like you also have to design the game around rollback netcode.
And then also not even just that. A lot of people in the West don't realize just how fucking small Japan is in comparison to America. So yeah, they're asking like a country that's about the same size geographically as Texas, the state, to go, I want you to build this multi-functioning online database that properly sends and receives information so that we can all play a random one-on-one fighting game. And I want you to do it for not just us, but for yourselves and for the world.
Yeah, they're starting to get it now. They're starting to understand now.
Yeah, they're now starting to get it. But so many people beforehand were just like, oh man, like they're expecting Japan to just know it. I'm like, Japan can barely fucking understand this shit themselves, bro.
Yeah, like it's also like delay is just easier. It's just easy. Like if we wanted to like get the game done on time, released on time, and we have a decent netcode that's within this country, is good enough for us. But like until now they've kind of like failed to see that in order to sell more, they need to go international, and they've been doing that. It's like, oh well, we got delay. It's okay. It's all netcode. It's like no. It's like that's not how it works these days.
Yeah, so, like the days of it being like Street Fighter 4 Vanilla Edition online basic gross netcode is long gone.
Yeah,
you're putting like esports are putting millions of dollars into this. You got no choice now. You're gonna have to play ball and learn how to do this dumb thing that everybody fucking has made the standard.
Yeah, like they like all of the people, especially the Japanese players, they're all playing on the PC now. There's like they're playing Street Fighter 5 on the PC. It has rollback netcode. It's less laggy. There's no lag.
There's less that they have to fucking deal with. So long as they're like hardwired and they have like a good connection, they're good to go. But because of the fact that so many games that are fighting games, one, they gotta have some form of like crossover play now. Now that's become a company standard at this point for just games.
That's just Sony though. Sony has been standing at the forefront for that and saying like, no, you can't do it. Now they realize, okay, these companies are probably gonna just die and it's gonna be our fault. Yeah, so we got to do it now.
Because I'm like, the fact that the Power Rangers fighting game has cross-play between literally all 4 systems that it's on. Meanwhile, Street Fighter, you only just got just this and then PC. Fucking hell, Overwatch, multi-million-dollar award-winning FPS game, no cross-play available. Conversely, Fortnite, you fucking play that with anybody on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the fighting game community is now getting to that point of, hey, why the fuck are we separating our fan bases who have the game and then forcing them to potentially have to buy an entire new console to get the game, when for just a little bit more money, we can have more people buy the game.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense because especially because
it's got to take that Fortnite kind of route. It's like fighting games got to be because they're gonna spend money on the costumes anyway.
Yeah.
So like on all the extras. So just make it free to play, rollback netcode, crossplay, and we're good. You know, like the game will sell.
That's entirely why I'm waiting for what they're fucking gonna do with this League of Legends game, that the fighting
Project
game that
L.
they said they were, the thing that's just been a ghost forever. Because I'm like, listen, if they can stick the landing and make a League of Legends fighting game cross, because they already know they're gonna have a billion fucking skins. If they make this shit free to play and it's good with proper netcode, look, I'm not gonna hold you. I love King of Fighters, but King of Fighters might get fucking thrown out.
They don't have, if they don't got rollback, man. If they don't get that rollback,
if there's no rollback in this upcoming King of Fighters, I don't give a shit how good Benimaru's hair look. I might have to fucking get rid of this.
Just get out of there. Just Korean backdash all the way out of there.
Yeah, it's not gonna be worth it because I'm like, I can't play the game online with friends that I fucking also know have the game. And it's not like I could go see them because of the pandemic. What the fuck do I have this game for?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's been a major talking point of just game developers as a whole having to adjust to the pandemic situation.
Yeah.
And because for you, thankfully, I know it hasn't been like too much of a radical change because you pretty much just been making the game just in-house. In your
for this game, one of the reasons why I started making the game is because we couldn't film anything this past year, right? So I was like, okay, well, what can I do? And so I decided to get a new skill, and that skill is making video games or learning how to use templates for them as actually. So Unreal Engine, it's free. Anybody out there, dude, like Unreal Engine, if you're able to like run Unreal Engine on your computer, just get it. It's free. You learn how to make video games. There's all sorts of tutorials on there. They have Unreal Engine like YouTube. They got tutorials like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You can make any game you want. You can make a fighting game. You can make a racing game. You can make a Grand Theft Auto style game. You can do all sorts of stuff. You know, just gotta like study a bit.
All right.
And what else do you want to know about the fighting game?
Primarily because you have like a roster. So for your roster, because you have Strega, you have the female hero whose name I fucking there we go, because I keep fucking mispronouncing it, and at one night I called her Versace, and I kind of was like, no, that isn't right. But it's now Versago. I'm kind of right, Versago. There we go. You got these two. You have the new hero that was made exclusively for the game.
Yeah.
You got the Mr. Karate-esque kung fu fighter demon guy.
That it's funny how that came full circle. That character was inspired by Mr. Karate from King of Fighters 13. So I used that concept in Gun Caliber. And now he's back and in a video game.
Look at that.
Full circle.
All right. Well, yeah, so you got that. Are there anything, or rather what I should say is how are you planning on implementing like your trademark style that you've essentially made for yourself in the fighter? Because like when people see like your stuff, right, they're gonna see like high ultra violence, crazy stylistic action. Because you already said like you wanted to have like the gameplay sort of like a mix of like Infinite and like Guilty Gear cinematic. So we already know like it's gonna be hopefully like a cinematic piece and like actually good hardcore combo route action. But also you gotta understand like there's also like crass bullshit jokes and whatnot. Will that be like implemented anywhere? Like, are you gonna have like a Devil May Cry style like taunt system where like if you, or rather not Devil May Cry, but like a third strike style taunt system where like depending on if you taunt, you can have like your moves buff your character or like debuff an opponent or anything like that. Has that been something that you're considering?
Been considering it, yeah. First, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the base gameplay down. What I want the game to play like is, because like, I keep going back to Infinite because I really like the system in there. Like, it's the versus system. I love the super jumps. I love the aerial rave combos. I like the cinematic supers and all that stuff. But we don't have that yet. we have some air combos and stuff like that, but it's not. The game still is kind of floaty. It's still a little slow. So hopefully, like the person that's helping out with like the template for it, I'm keeping in touch and I'm constantly testing the template for bugs, and I'm making like recommendations. I'm showing them like the wall bounces and floor bounces from Infinite and stuff like that. And also, I know that one thing I want to implement later on. Probably I'm probably having to figure this out myself. I'm thinking of implementing the vector cards from Strega in a way that's done the same as the Infinity Stones in Infinite. Except you're gonna have like 12 of them, or like even maybe 30 of them.
Right,
But like the more cards we make, it's going to be like a lot more work. So I probably have like a base of like, okay, you could choose between these like 10 cards or 12 cards. And then each season we're gonna add new cards. So they would work in the same way. You'd have like a button where it activates the card, kind of like with the Infinity Surge, and then you could have like a buff, which would kind of be not necessarily the Infinity Storm, but the buff would kind of be the same as in Marvel superheroes, because the way they use the Infinity Stones there is just like it's just kind of like an extra buff in the game.
Yeah, and then depending on the character, they might have like a specialty buff for them.
Yeah, like but in Infinite, it's like an assist, right? So I wanted to have it like that, but instead of like, well, the Infinity Storm is kind of like a comeback mechanic kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like more of like a comeback mechanic and a character all in one, depending on what stone you pick.
Yeah.
Whereas in Marvel superheroes, it was more so like depending on the character that you have and the stone that you randomly get, it might do something. Like with I think the Time Stone, it automatically gives Wolverine the Berserker charge, so he has like the mirror clones that come after him, so he can hit more. The Reality Stone, Shumagorath gets like automatic projectiles for every like normal that he does. So that would be very interesting to see in your game for the vector cards and whatnot. Like a flame power up, and then like for every like fireball that like Strega does, instead of it being just like a regular fireball, it's like a fucking Mr. Karate How Shokoken or something like that. Like that would be pretty
and then
interesting.
like each hit, like when you get like the flames, it takes off like it has a little bit of like a deteriorative thing on your health bar.
Like
so it's like the longer you are like on fire, then the more like you slightly
the more
lose
damage,
health and stuff like that. So it's just
all right, like
a lot
Fang from Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, yeah,
like a poison ailment. Yeah, all right. Like so that definitely be something cool.
Yeah, we maybe like have like what the Guilty Gear is doing with like the status ailments, kind of like an RPG kind of deal. So like if you have shock, then there's certain moves that you're not able to use, like because you're in shock and stuff like that. Like freeze, you'll just like you won't be able to move, but you'll get like hit, kind of deal. It's kind of like
that's very ambitious. I will say that.
But yeah, again, like for each vector card, you have to figure out how the physics are going to apply, and then you have to figure out how the visual effects are going to be applied. And then if we're like, because I want rollback netcode later on, we have to figure out, is this move going to affect the rollback netcode in a negative way? Like if we do the move,
you gotta go through every move, every normal special intros if you wind up having them,
and stages, because stages are animated too, right? So you have to like think about that. That's one of the things that people kind of also underestimate about rollback netcode is like they don't know yet you have to test it. They know it's good. They don't know that you actually have to test it,
and you have to test it on everything. So
yeah,
everything from character selects to music options select. Like for the Guilty Gear like test or whatever that they were having when they put Accent Core on there, and they had it as a test when they was like, listen, we're having everybody test this out just to see how rollback functions. And everybody was just like, all right, yeah, like we're testing it out, but more so Arc System Works was just like, all right, we're gonna use this, all of our findings. Please play on like all the stages, max settings if you can. We trying to find out all the ins and outs for rollback and what's effective and what's not. Come to find out, after like the beta is over, they're like, all right, yeah, turns out we're not canceling the rollback thing. You guys have given us enough data and we've now run the numbers and we got everything down pat. Guilty Gear permanent rollback. Like they were able to figure it out that way. And I was like, that was perfect for them. That was genius. They did that shit perfectly. The same way how they also SNK did it also with Mark of the
2002.
Wolves.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not sure if 2002 has rollback now.
It was like 2002 that has rollback.
Does it? I think, yeah.
I think 2000 2002.
I think 2002, because I know they're re-releasing 2000 right now for like a special promotion or some shit.
Yeah, 2002 had rollback.
All right.
They added rollback to that.
All right, cool. Because I know that they did it for Mark of the Wolves, and it was perfect. And they were like super excited about that. And they were like, yeah, Mark of the Wolves is on Steam right now. Rollbacks included. Get the fuck in here, buddy. Get worked up by Kevin Ryan, the best character in the fucking game. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get beat up by a cop in fucking rollback netcode online by the best character in the fucking game. It's so, I hate it, but I love it because I mained Kevin.
Yeah.
He's
so like that's what kind of they have to do, right? And then like a lot of people also wonder, how come this big corporation can't do it, but the smaller guy can do it? How come the rollback netcode can't be applied to Dragon Ball Fighters, but they could apply it over to like fucking something like Fighting EX Layer? That doesn't make any sense. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it this way. So you take a look at something like Tekken. How many characters are there and how many stages?
Currently about like 52. And as far as for stages, like a good 30, not even counting stage transitions.
So that means that you have to take one character, test them against every other character, test all the moves, and test them on each and every stage with the settings like 50 times.
And also customization options too.
So 50 times 50. It's like how much? I'm bad at math.
Like, don't ask me. I'm awful at math. 50 times.
Wait a minute, I got a calculator. I got a calculator. Hold on. So 50 times 50. Okay. So 50 times 50. So you have to test each character 2,500 times.
And that's just for a single character.
No, all the characters. Because there's 50 characters, right? So testing first, you test a character 50 times against 50 other characters. That's one. Or actually, that is one character. So that's for one character. Okay, plus 30. So that'd be 2,530 times for one character. You have to test that character, and be like, why don't you just test all the characters? So you have to test all the characters. So that's plus 30. So 2,500. 2,500 plus 30. I'm just doing ballpark. I'm not.
Yeah.
Times 50. So to finish testing on Tekken 7 for rollback, you would have to test the game 126,500 times. So that's why, they have like the infrastructure for that. So they'll get game testers, and then especially now they'll release a beta.
Yeah.
Like a netcode beta to a certain amount of people to test, right? And then that cuts down the work, right? When you have like a couple hundred people working on it. So with Fighting EX Layer, you have 16 characters. And like what, 8 stages? Like 10 stages?
Yeah, not about a handful of stages, honestly.
Yeah. So you have less stuff to work with, which cuts down the time. So after that, once you've tested internally, and also it's like the process of testing. First, you have to test on an internal network within the company or your office. You test on your internal network, and then you test on an external network, which is local. So like somewhere within the city or region.
Yeah.
Then you test regional from one side of the country to the other. Then you test overseas to see if the rollback works there. So you have to organize because this is going to be tested. Because this netcode is going to be tested overseas. It's a stress test. You have to do these stress tests. So you have to call Japan 3 a.m, organize a match so that you can test this netcode.
You got to call 3 a.m. just to play Tekken, just to test it. Not even that fun.
To test it, 126,500 times.
Ridiculous.
But the FGC in the end is going like, well, just add rollback netcode.
just put it in. Just fucking put the rollback netcode in my sandwich. What the fuck? It's easy.
So like,
fighting EX Lair did it.
This is why I want people. This is why I want FGC people to know what you have to go through for this. So like, before anybody goes to me saying, "Hey, that Battle Integra game looks good. Does it have rollback netcode?" When I get that all the goddamn time.
Oh no.
I've been working on it for 1 year. That's it. Like game development can go anywhere. Like, just ballpark. Tell everybody this, to all your viewers, to anybody. Like, game development can go anywhere for a good game. It can go anywhere from 3 to 6 years. Like, if you're good on development, you can get the game done in like 2 years. If you're like,
that's like if all the stars align and like everything's there. That's like crunch.
If you're super lucky, and if everything's going well, plus crunch, But realistically, that's why I'm realistic. And I've told people are all like, how long is it going to take? I just say like 3 or 4 years, man. I'm realistic. We only have 2 people. And even then, we got a fucking lot done. We have like 7 characters already. So, but yeah, like the game, I know that I want it to be a versus style fighting game, but I might even like implement some stuff from like Million Arthur. Maybe you could have 3 vector cards that you could use, instead of just the one. But it depends. Like if 1 is not enough, then maybe like we'll update. Okay, so you could choose 3 cards now. But like, it's all about the kind of the mental retention of the player. Because if I add more cards to select, you're going to be stuck on the selection screen longer. By the time you start the match, you're tired and you're going to forget about what you selected anyway.
It's going to be already a battle of attrition to see what you're going to fucking select.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I wanted to make a game that would promote the movie and a movie to promote the game. And so hopefully people like it. I just hope I can get it done the way that I envision it and have it not be shitty. And if it turns shitty, I'm sorry.
Right? Nothing to be sorry for. It's 1, your first game, and 2, your first venture into an entirely new field on your own.
Yeah.
So if it's shit, all this just means is that, all right, so the next one can now be Heat. That's all. You can just use that, like the Robert Rodriguez. It's like, all right, my first one's trash. I can now use this information. Give me all the feedback, even if it's positive or even if it's negative. I'll use that, and then for Strega 2 Electric Boogaloo, sure enough, the game is fucking fire.
I don't know if I want to make like... Oh yeah, the game's title is Battle Integra, by the way.
All right, so Battle Integra 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I think like... that's like probably the only way to erase like an actual, like, to make a sequel to erase the past game is to add 2 into it, or what? Because
nowadays, right, more people are starting to realize that like you don't need to buy like a sequel for a game unless it radically changes stuff. So that's why everybody is like, listen, if you're gonna make like Street Fighter 6, this shit has to not be like how 5 is. It has to be like it's entirely new engine, new everything. Do that. Just give us another season of Street Fighter 5. So if you got to change the title or whatever, instead of it being like Street Fighter 5, and finally call it Super Street Fighter 5, the thing that literally everyone was waiting for them to do, and they found like data files for it, and then for some reason Capcom was just like, nah, we're just gonna just like it's just a new season, that's it. And ironically enough, when they found it in the same sort of data files in Street Fighter 4, everybody was like, okay, we found this for Super. What the fuck's Ultra? Come to find out, Ultra SF4 wound up coming out, and it just had all the characters that were a cross tag in that game and better mechanics overall, because it now became the definitive best version of that game. And Omega. Now people are, right, and Omega mode. The thing, ironically enough, that wound up being a beta test for what Street Fighter V would eventually become. Yeah. So now I'm just like, at this point, we're just whatever new shit that comes into Street Fighter V, we're just testing it out to see what works. So then when 6 drops, they can go like, okay, now this is a staple. Oh, it turns out
we're all lab rats, man. We're all lab rats. But that's all it is, like with the games, like you collect the data and you upgrade it. I mean, like that's why I think like if I was to do Battle Integra, I probably wouldn't do it 2. I would just keep like a updating it and updating it and updating it, because like it's already enough trouble to make one framework. I don't know if I'd want to repeat it. I just want to just build on top of what we got, make a big until it's a huge fucking monster, until I have like 130 characters. Until I have enough staff,
right? So you have enough staff that you can actually go like, if I wanted to make a 2, I could, but we're just gonna stick with like season 3 or something like that. Because ironically enough, right? Like people who are like clamoring for like everything that they're constantly wanting in Street Fighter V and whatnot, somebody just made that in a mod. Like the most mysterious mod for Street Fighter V, it literally changes it. So now the gameplay functions more loose and it feels like Marvel. And also like he changed how characters work. Everybody has 2 supers instead of 1. V triggers are changed, animations are changed. He fucking turned regular Akuma into Oni. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Why couldn't I have this? And I'm like, wait, I could just play the mod, and then whatever I want from there, I can just play this instead of wasting my time with regular Street Fighter.
Oh, but you're gonna get like slammed by the Cap Cops.
Listen, I have been on the Cap Cops radar forever. If they didn't catch me then, they can't catch me now.
You got the Cap Cops. You got the fight FGC Code of Conduct, aka the FGC Cock.
Right.
The FGC Cock's gonna be all up in your ass.
You got the Arc System Works assassins, because they full on are like, don't fucking leak anything that we put out. Wait till it's done.
Tokusatsu Cock, man.
Like Arc System Works, sure enough. Weirdly, they're worse than Capcom when it comes to that shit. Like if you upload like artwork or like not even just concept art, but just like if you like get like the data rips for like music and you put that shit online, Arc System Works somehow, some way just finds, even if it's like a small like 100 viewer YouTube channel and whatnot, they'll just be like, oh yeah, you're fucking uploaded the theme song to the end boss and the fucking game that hasn't come out till technically a day from now. Fuck you. Your channel is destroyed. You don't have a YouTube channel. You're canceled. Like, you're actually canceled. You don't have a YouTube anymore. Like Arc System Works does that shit. The same thing with like Nintendo. Nintendo, like if you upload not Super Smash Brothers, Fire Emblem music, they're super anal about that. So now it's like, yeah, now people have started just fucking around and they've been naming their YouTube titles things like, yeah, this is a cooking tutorial for how to make the perfect stromboli, and it is no way the secret final boss theme to Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And you click on it, and it's like, all right, this is the theme song, Fire Emblem 3 Houses final boss. All right, cool. This shit's a slammer, and everybody's in the comments, and they're like, yeah, this is a good stromboli recipe. Oh my goodness, this stromboli's amazing. And I'm like, y'all really trying to make sure fucking Nintendo doesn't fucking come and snipe you?
Yeah, just like no Slippy, no rollback, no left and overlay allowed. None of that.
None of it. You can't have fun.
Cancel all smashers. Sky Williams.
Listen,
keep them out.
Like if you're a Smash player and you're still trying to play and have fun, I commend you, because goddamn, they have so many fucking rules now. You can't do shit, especially if you're a pro streamer. So good luck.
Rule number 1: don't fuck kids.
That should be a universal rule, but for some reason, a lot of them just don't fucking have common sense to know that's a terrible thing.
I'm so
But,
toxic, man.
listen, the Smash players up and outright deserve it. I full on bully them whenever I can because you motherfuckers just don't listen.
Yeah.
As my mother, the executive director, loves to say, a hard head makes a soft ass. So if you keep fucking around, you're going to fuck around and then find out. And sure enough, these players that are playing the game and whatnot and doing all this gross stuff, they're fucking around, and now they're finding out when either they get canceled and then the cops show up,
right,
or not even just wasting time with cancellations. People are just taking street justice into their own hands.
Well, that said, you want to know how much the game's going to cost?
Yes.
It's going to be free.
Oh shit! Oh man, I gotta. When I edit this, I gotta fucking put that as like a big, giant, bold text letters with like gold emboss, fucking like a dramatic sound effects.
We gotta do that again. Then we'll run that back. We'll just roll back right now. Okay, right, so you want to know how much it costs?
How much is it gonna cost, man?
It's free.
This is sound effects right there. It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Put that money chains. Put the money chains.
Right.
Put the money.
The 2000s internet blingy money falling gif and whatnot.
No, I got my shoes. I walk to the money. Yeah, I talk to the money. See my Kool-Aid. My money is sweet. Damn.
Oh God.
Oh, see, I got money on my hat, my money on my mind.
Lord. Oh man.
65 money chains. You black people are so hilarious sometimes. I swear to God.
Listen, it is a staple, and I love it. We have turned trauma into triumph, and I hope that more ethnicities, more cultures can do the same, so they can start getting over shit, and also that the motherfuckers can start healing from a lot of shit. Because it's sad how much black people got to go through, and how much we got to laugh, and in order to not like adhere to just stabbing a person because it's just that angry. Like the entire situation, like the pandemic, and it was just like, man, you're rolling these out to all these shitty white neighborhoods and whatnot. You guys aren't helping any of the urban neighborhoods at all, and now motherfuckers are dying in the streets. You're gonna give the vaccine to a bunch of old people in office, though? Fuck off, man. You can't get anything. We can't have.
But you know what? Battle Integra is free.
Right. At least we can take solace in that. Battle Integra is free. The man's giving you free content on his channel for if you want to learn like filmmaking, tokusatsu, and suit making and stuff like that. The guy's giving you literally the lock and the key to the safe of like fucking just Sentai work. Like he's giving you all this shit for free. At this point, you're kind of just throwing money on the table.
We also live stream sometimes. Sometimes it's mostly gaming. Sometimes I'm showing people how to edit VFX for tokusatsu. So how to transform, how to blow people up, all that stuff. So you got to learn that stuff on the channel. Sometimes I'm just shooting shit, just talking shit. So, but like also I'm recently like doing more streams where I'm like doing game dev. So just using templates, messing around. But you can see how I work with that stuff too. So.
Thank you. That's listen. We definitely need more people like that who's just going around and just showing how they're making the game less of just like cloak and dagger stuff. That's definitely been a very eye-opening thing for game developers to be very upfront and honest with their potential clientele of how they're making their product. And I commend you for that.
Yeah, like a lot of people are kind of like because like they always want to see how the game works, right? Because in the end, it's a competitive game, and like data, whoever gets the data first usually has the upper hand. So if you put the data out to everybody, then everybody has the upper hand. Everybody can have like it's fair game, you know. It's like because everybody has the same amount of knowledge, and so I don't know why they don't do that. It's like, because if everybody is more equal, like in terms of like of level of like difficulty, then you have better matches. So I don't like just tell people in a video how to do a fireball, tell them how to do a dragon punch, tell them how to do that stuff, and then everybody will get better because they know how to do it, and then you'll have better matches.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But all right. So I think I'm gonna cut it here, just because there's gonna be a fucking a lot to not only go through and edit, but also because, god damn it, I'm about to get hungry. I'm gonna probably make like an FGC Stromboli. I'm gonna put some fucking rollback in there. Fucking like, Becky, put the fucking rollback in my sandwich. Come on.
But now you have a better understanding about all of this. Yes. About like that's why you can tell people about it. If somebody says just add rollback netcode, you could chew them out and say like, okay, you could write them a whole fucking telephone book about the steps. And then
I'm just gonna clip that entire portion of us just doing math, and I'm just gonna save that and just be like, FGC development's easy, and I'm just gonna every time I'm just gonna just post this clip. Just like, no, it's not. Fuck off.
Like that. That's another misconception. Everybody thinks that just because it's 2 characters on the screen, it's easy to develop a fighting game. It's not. It's not. These are the most like demanding, concise games to work with.
But like, out of the easiest fighting game that was ever made, Dive Kick, which originally was just 2 characters and they only had 2 mechanics, jump and then dive kick. They took like fucking Serlin took forever in order to make that, because he had to perfectly plan out how that game was going to function with just 2 buttons. He halfway made it as a joke, but also is to showcase that, 1, footsies are an important thing in fighting games as just a player, and 2, just to showcase like technical shit of just like, look, if you want to fucking play a game and your game has dive kicks, there's several avenues that you got to go through, and then even then you have to then program each of these, and then every subsequent character that he wound up giving a crazy ability to in dive kick, he then had to reprogram the game every time. And each time he's like, yeah, now you're getting to see that this isn't just a simple matter. I gotta fucking work.
Well, he was just a director. He wasn't a programmer, but he had to like kind of stir it in the direction, right? So he got an idea of it. So, but like
he wasn't the programmer, but he worked very closely with them to like figure out how this shit was. So I would definitely trust his opinion when it came to just like how shit worked in that avenue than some random Joe Schmo with like 30 followers and a bunch of fucking numbers after his name on Twitter talking about, oh damn, I play fighting games.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like they shit on Fantasy Strike a lot, and like to me, it's only as a game, it's only okay, but like the package is superb, and that should be the standard of how fighting games should be packaged.
He's definitely gonna fix it. Like he's definitely gonna work on it, because
like Strive is looking like to be the next one though, to like overtake. But like as far as like packaging goes, right now that should be the standard. But Strive is looking to be like the next standard. With the whole way the menus are packaged and stuff like that. Just the game as a package.
All right. So it has been a wonderful time talking to you, my good sir. I thank you very much for having you. The streets, thank you for being a real one, not having any of this bullshit. We're coming in raw, we're coming in direct, we're talking man to man, coast to coast, person to person, heart to heart, soul to soul. And god damn it, as the main man over here at the Geeks at the Round Table, I humbly thank you for this opportunity to break bread with you. Hopefully, if there is like a Strega 2, maybe I could get like there might be like a cameo over there in Battle Integra. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what the future holds between us and everybody that's in store. I thank everybody for viewing. Sir Bueno, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this with me. It has been a pleasure, and it's been a long time in the making. For those who are watching, again, this is the long cut version. If you're watching this on YouTube or on like any other social media website or whatever, there's going to be a cut version that's going to be cutting out all the fun stuff, and you're just getting not all of it. You're just gonna get most of the nitty gritty, but most of like the fun stuff here and there. So if you want to watch if you want to hear the full thing, you're gonna have to hit those socials. You're gonna have to hit our Spotify. You're gonna have to hit our SoundCloud. You're gonna have to get our Google Music, because we definitely upload to all of those platforms, all these airwaves. We have invaded to give you the prime time, quality time entertainment. And we have our dear friend here to send us off. So, my good man, if you could please tell the world who you are, what you do, and have us a good old night.
Well, everybody, thanks for watching. This is Bueno, creator of Gun Caliber and Strega, producer, director, Garage Hero. You can follow us on Twitter at Garage Pro 7, Garage Hero 7, I believe. And let's check it really quickly. At Garage Pro 7, just to make sure I didn't fuck up. And you could also find us on Facebook at Garage Hero Japan. I also have a personal page that I use at Garage Hero Bueno on Facebook, and you should be able to find me on there. You'll see like all of my opinions written down there. I usually just talk lots of shit about each and every person I don't like, but I also post some of my game dev stuff on there as well. We also do some live streams on our YouTube channel if you want to see all of our original Tokusatsu stuff and a lot of our things that we've shot up until now. Then yeah, you could check us out on Garage Pro TV. It's on YouTube. And Gun Caliber, the DVD is available from SRS Cinema. Go check it out at srscinemastore.com. You'll be able to buy it on, I think only the DVD versions out. Before we had DVD, Blu-ray, and VHS. But now it's only the DVD, I believe, but you can buy it on there. And hopefully, sometime within the next few months, we can announce a release date for the Strega DVD. So as far as the game, Battle Integra, the Strega fighting game, that's going to be in development for about another 3 years or so, 4 years. But yeah, it's coming along well, and we have lots of cool stuff going on for it. And if you like a lot of the characters in Strega, you could take a look at them over in Battle Integra, and they're more buffed up and stuff. We used the Capcom How to Design Fighting Game Characters book from Capcom to design a lot of the characters in the game, so we have some really cool designs, and hopefully I can get the game to be playable sometime soon. But we'll see about that. When it's ready, it's ready. I don't want to put it out of the oven too early. And yeah, for anyone who just wants to check out our stuff, by all means, check out our stuff, follow our stuff, and help us get some more subscribers on YouTube. We really want to hit that 10,000 mark. We're only at like what? I think like 6,000. It'd be nice if we could have like a nice 10,000. So if you could share us around and get everybody to know about us, share us around with your friends, that would mean a lot.
Right. Listen, people, friends, enemies, people of the world, fucking follow this man, follow us, and we will catch you in the next one. This is Eric once more, Geeks of the Roundtable, Necrovisual. I will see you in the next fucking show. Peace out. Good night.